The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining Gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. You can find show notes for this show, as well as previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 120. You can also contact us with questions or comments on Twitter, at Z2Z, Z-E-D-T-O-Z-E-D, or at our forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. So we got a full crew tonight. It is myself, and I'm joined with Proulx. How are you doing, Proulx?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. And we've got Randy here. How are you doing, Randy?
I'm doing okay.
That's good to hear. How did Magic go tonight?
That went okay.
Big winner?
2 and 2.
2 and 2.
Yeah,
the heart of the cards were not with you.
They were not. The first round was like a throwaway. The first match was just terrible. But
that's frustrating.
After that, it was good. I mean, it was mostly good. But gotta make some tweaks, change it up, see how it goes.
Summon Exodia, all that
exactly.
sort of thing. Yeah, that's fair.
Summon Exodia and the Charizard and beat all the sports guys.
Wow, that would be pretty impressive.
And the dragons.
You play any games this last week? I know we haven't talked to you in a little while. We got some questions for you that's going to be coming up, but
not really. So I spent all of last week or I guess 2 weeks ago by the time this comes out, in Canada, but not usual Canada, in Eastern Canada. So I went to Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto and played very few games while I was there. I did play 2 games. I played Rayman Fiesta Run on Windows 8. Finally started that, and it is fun as I remember it on Windows Phone. Plus, there's all kinds of new goodies now.
Is that for like an achievement streak? Do you have that going, or?
No, there were a couple evenings when we were just kind of hanging out, and it was small enough that I planned on playing Killer Instinct, but my save didn't sync for my Xbox, so I couldn't play it.
Boo.
Well, I could, but I would have lost my save, and it's no good. So I was like, oh, well, what's a game that doesn't take too long that I've wanted to play that's not too big that I can download on this borrowed internet? Oh, Rayman Fiesta Run. So the Windows 8 or Windows 10 store was terrible as always. Such a disaster. It would just like, I love how stuff on there you install it and it just doesn't work. Like you'll launch it and it's like, nope, it's not going to work. Your computer's not plugged in. It's not going to work. No internet. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Windows 10 store is terrible. So is Windows 8. The Windows store it just needs to go away. It's terrible. Game is fun. Didn't work a lot of the time.
It's an endless runner, right?
No, it's not endless. It's basically exactly use the same engine, same physics, same everything as Rayman Origins and Legends, except you don't control the movement. The movement is automatic.
Yeah, sorry, auto runner is the word.
Auto runner,
yeah,
that's
not endless. Auto runner.
Yeah, but like all the same things, like the moves that speed you up. Like if you do an attack while you're running on a flat surface, you'll go faster, and you can jump and go even fast and things like that. So because I played so much Rayman Legends for the trophies, I sometimes break the scripted path by going too fast, and then it doesn't work. So I'll just like go too fast and die. So I have to kind of slow myself down a little bit. And then there are a few glitchy ones in some of the new levels that weren't really well done, where there's like a couple things where you just like fall through a wall and die, and it's annoying. So I played that, and I also played Toe Jam and Earl on Sega Genesis.
Yeah. Oh, the original.
Oh my goodness, that's a throwback.
So my wife and I went to a bar that was a board game and video game bar, and so they had all kinds of things. So we played Sushi Go, which is a card game. It's like a real card game with actual physical cards. And then we played Toe Jam and Earl on a Sega Genesis on the Tube TV.
Huh.
Which is pretty cool.
What world did you get to?
We didn't get very far. We kind of didn't really know what we were doing. Do you just explore and not die? Like, is that
yes,
pretty
the whole
much.
game?
I mean, like,
So
Okay,
did
that's
you-
what I thought.
the key
it took
is
us
like-
a long time to figure out what we were doing.
yeah.
Yep.
The key is to find somebody to decode your presence so you can identify the randomizer. I mean, like, that's
Oh, okay.
Like, that's,
'Cause,
like, the most important
That was
thing.
what, like, we could not figure out. They're like, all these presents. We're like, what do they do? Like, when do we use these? We like jumped off the edge and like fell down and got in the elevator.
Was that your first Toe Jam and Earl experience?
I've never played Toe Jam and Earl before that.
Oh,
I didn't know it was
Wow.
co-op though. That's why I picked that game. I saw it on the list. And I know like they were mostly retro games. Like they had some Xbox stuff, but it was mostly like 16-bit and N64. So I knew Toe Jam because not a lot of those games had co-op. Co-op is kind of more of a recent thing. And I knew Toe Jam and Earl did. So I was like, oh yeah, let's play Toe Jam and Earl.
yeah.
And it's amazing how well implemented that co-op is, considering like that was not a thing at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Co-op like that.
Yeah, it's not a game that it is a game that you need to kind of play over and over again before you start to learn the ins and outs of it.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I thought you had some experience with that.
Yeah,
No,
didn't
I
really-
never played it.
I was talking high level Toe Jam and Earl.
Yeah, yes, he was.
No.
Yeah.
We're just like, what do we do? We're like, then we found a spaceship part, and that was pretty good.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
exciting.
ultimately, that's the goal. You walk around to look for spaceship parts, and then at random
and
times,
avoid those guys that you can throw tomatoes at.
you open presents and hope that, because anytime you open the present of the same shape or size, you know what's in there. But there's one present called the randomizer, which changes all of things. So, like, if you open one at one point and eat moldy cheese, that makes you sick and you lose health. But then when you pick that present up again, the box will say moldy cheese, and you know that it's worth.
So you know to
okay.
drop it. Yeah.
So
So the worst, literally the worst thing that you can have happen is the randomizer be the last present that you find, but you don't know it's the last present that you find, and then you get stuck in like a life or death situation, and you don't have any presents left, and you have this one that's 5 question marks, and you use it, and then it just ruins everything that you've worked towards.
Yeah.
So, but that is high level play.
We did find enough bucks laying around that we could mail order an extra present. So that was pretty exciting. I love how you mail order the presents at the mailboxes.
yeah.
Later
In the game, those mailboxes come to life and they wreck house.
They can, like everything in the game, it's random.
Yeah.
So and it gets more.
So they're mimic mailboxes.
Yes.
Yes, there are mimic mailboxes.
Yep.
And it gets more and more random the further in you go. So it gets tricky. We've talked, me and Fream, obviously, we've talked a lot about how much we love this game. And I think maybe this year is the year for the next Toe Jam and Earl game. Maybe. I think it was last year, I think it was the year before that they did their...
It's hard for me to get excited about it though after seeing that
I
alpha
know, me
footage.
too.
Like I'm
it doesn't look
very
like
nervous.
I don't really understand how that would translate to modern, but I don't know. We'll see. Well, the Xbox one was good, wasn't it? The original Xbox?
Yeah, it was just a
It's
port.
just a port.
So it was fine. And
not the one with achievements like Toe Jam and Earl 3.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, no, that one's terrible.
Oh no,
It was not okay.
No, Toe Jam and Earl 1, the original is the only good one. So
Oh, even 2 wasn't good?
it's
2 is like a 2D.
it's a platform.
Yeah, a 2D platformer.
Oh.
It's
okay.
not the same thing
Yeah.
at all. So
They
okay.
did not do a good job on that one.
So anyway, another interesting thing that this bar had was packs of magic cards, like booster packs, in a cigarette machine. Like, the cigarette machines in bars where you buy packs of cigarettes?
Right?
You put the coins in and you push the number and then a pack of cigarettes.
Oh,
falls
sure,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they
Those still
put magic
exist?
cards in there instead of cigarettes.
They put booster packs of magic
That's
cards in there
hilarious.
instead of cigarettes. So of course I had to buy one. I mean, just out of novelty. So that was kind of cool. That was actually the first pack of magic cards I've ever bought that wasn't from an event. So like normally I don't buy packs because if I need a card I just buy it.
Right.
I don't try and get it from a pack.
But isn't there like a
But
level of
I do get
excitement
packs.
to like open something and be like, oh, it could be anything in here.
No, because
I could
they're
have
always
I could
disappointing.
have like 8 moxes in here or whatever.
You lose, like, okay, if a pack is $4 and like you can sell the even before eBay fees,
Yeah.
like you lose like 99% of the time on packs.
Well, duh. It's like, but don't you enjoy like scratch off tickets?
No.
Where it's like, or the lottery in general. I mean, that's what it is.
Really.
It's it's gambling.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my luck with packs is not good, so I don't buy them. But when I draft most weeks, like that's when you open a pack and you take a card, you pass it on, somebody gives you the pack.
Yeah.
Like then I open packs and do that, but you play with those cards, so like you get to keep them at the end.
Right.
But the whole point is you open the packs, you don't know what you get, and you make a deck with the cards you get from people passing it around the table.
Right.
But yeah, I don't really get much out of the opening packs. I got 2 tonight, and no
holographic
do it for me.
Charizard.
No holographic Charizard,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool, and I did lots of other cool things. I stayed in a hostel that was a jail.
What? Like an old renovated prison?
Kind of renovated. I mean, like it's.
Did you just go to prison and try to convince us that you indeed would were there under your own volition?
It was actually a hostel.
It's Canadian prison, Fream, so to us it's an awful lot like a hotel.
I just put on my hipster glasses and
Right.
And I pretended prison was a hostel.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, it was converted from a prison. Like all of the rooms have like prison bars and are like white brick.
Yeah.
Gray floor.
Wait, so you're exposed? Like
they have a little cover on most of the door, so like nobody can really see it unless they're like climbing up the bars or something.
Right, but
so
this
you can see out.
There's no privacy essentially then, which is fine.
No.
Like that's what they're going for.
No, there is like if you walk down the hall, you might see someone's feet if they're standing right in front of their door, but like they put like a black cover over most of the door, and then there's like the bars on the top, like a window, but that's like 8 feet up or like 10 feet up in the air. So like you can't see there unless somebody was like standing on a chair or like climbing up the bars and looking in or something. But like the bars are still there. Like like there are bars, they just like put something over top of them.
What did you do with all your incarcerated people?
There's a new jail.
Okay.
This one was deemed inhumane. It also has
people can stay there.
Yes,
They
people
can
can pay like as much as a hotel.
Well, now they have black
there.
curtains, so it's totally okay now.
And I think they said it has Canada's only gallows, only working gallows.
Wow, working?
So working.
How do they know it's still working?
They cut bread with it.
Oh,
baguettes.
Like a history. It's like a historical site also or something, so like they can't change the like echoey hallways and stuff. So like the hallways, because it's a jail, it was designed so you can hear anything on the floor basically. So like if anybody gets up in the night to go to the bathroom, you'll hear it.
Well, that sounds terrible.
Or like anyone's talking. Like,
any funny business?
I was just going to say that you don't want to go on your honeymoon to this hotel. It sounds like.
Yeah, probably not. So yeah, we bought earplugs because it's noisy.
I bet.
But it was cool. It was cool. It's kind of expensive for what it was, but it's a novelty thing. So
yeah,
it was cool. And then I stayed on a houseboat.
All right,
also.
And that was less expensive than your stint in jail.
No, houseboat was more expensive.
I'd hope so.
Not much. Just did one night in the houseboat, heated with a wood stove, so I had to make a fire.
Wait, you make a fire inside the boat?
Well,
yes.
It's got like a fireplace, right?
It's a wood
I
stove.
understand that, but it's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no heat, there's no power. I mean, there is power, like there's lights, but that's it. Like you can't plug anything in. It runs off a car battery or like multiple car batteries.
Fascinating.
Randy, are you sure that you just didn't run out of money and you just kind of tried to find places to crash?
Suck all your money in cryptocurrency.
I might be out of money now, but Yeah, so that was cool too. But houseboats do not have. Well, this houseboat at least does not have plumbing. So that was interesting. It was almost a deal breaker when we were picking places to stay, but
oof, that is rough.
We were adventurous.
Yeah.
So when the river is not frozen, it has river water like for the sink, like to wash in. Like
it just occurred to me too how cold it is, and you were in Canada. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah, no, it was frozen. The river was frozen.
Like these people who have houseboats like that, dude, like next to their boat, is there just a pile of excrement? Like, what do you do?
There's a bucket.
God, that sounds awful.
There's a bucket in the boat.
Jeez Louise.
I think you ran out of money.
But no, people.
That's my theory.
Clearly, I'm actually still on the houseboat.
You're waiting so you can move it.
No, but I don't think there were a couple other houseboats on this river, and I don't think anyone lives in them in the winter.
So they tricked you.
Because this was an Airbnb, and like they were saying that like in the summer the rate is like more than double.
I bet.
Was there a bed on the houseboat?
Yes, the houseboat actually I think probably had the best bed of all the places we stayed.
Were you served breakfast in the morning?
No.
Then it's not a B&B.
Okay, it's an Airbnb. The breakfast is
no, I understand.
Usually included in Airbnb.
But if there's no bathroom, I don't know. You figure you got to get some. Yeah, that seems a little unreasonable.
It's actually Airbnb is actually for air, bed, and bathroom.
Yeah, I was gonna say breakfast is in the bucket.
Then they should get 0 stars.
Yeah. No, it was cool though. And I much prefer the winter rate. So like, and it was so hot. So it was well below freezing. Where we stay, obviously the river was frozen, but like that wood stove heat up that boat so much, like we had to like open the windows.
Interesting.
In the bedroom.
Sounds like a wild little trip here. Well, I'm glad you had some fun.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool trip. Yeah, and then went to Toronto, and I got to play. So one thing that was really exciting in Toronto is we love board game cafes, so we stopped at a few of those on our trip. And this one in Toronto had a lot of like older and rarer board games, which they usually don't have because, I mean, obviously they get a lot of wear because
Jumanji.
They did have Jumanji actually. we didn't play Jumanji.
Well, yeah, you'd never get out.
But they. It's actually where I am right now. We actually went there first, and then
Canadian Jumanji, yeah,
the houseboat and the jail. But they had this one I was super excited about because it's really expensive. They had Dream Phone, which is a game I've been wanting to play for ages, which is hilarious. And
Wait a minute,
fantastic game.
Is that like a game aimed for teenage girls?
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
My sister had that. I think growing up, like it was
where
like
there's like a pink phone. You put the numbers in, and then they talk to you.
Yeah, I remember.
And it's kind of like Clue. Yeah. That's like $100+ board game if you still have it.
Oh no!
So
no.
you know.
Oh God, no.
Because the phone breaks, the batteries leak, the box is really big, but it's a great game. It's a really fun game. One of my favorite board games of all time is Electronic Talking Mystery Mansion, which came out around the same time, same kind of concept. And the reason I say Electronic Talking is because there was an original Mystery Mansion that I've been wanting to play, but I've never seen, and they had it. They had it there too. Not nearly as good as the Electronic Talking one, but now I got to play it. So that was cool. And I think that's pretty much all my gaming this week. Then after coming back has just been like catching up on
some IRL stuff. Gaming. Interesting. Well, good to have you back. Proulx, what have you been up to this last week?
Oh, you know, the usual sort of stuff. I Halo and Borderlands. I played a little bit more Marvel Puzzle Quest, which I talked a bit about last week.
Oh, I'm going to interrupt you because I just remembered one more thing I was going to mention.
Oh boy.
So another thing we were doing was thrift shopping a lot. We like to go thrift shopping. And I'm pretty sure I found a counterfeit Xbox 360 game.
Ooh.
So I had to buy it. It was like $10. And I was like, because I saw it, I'm like, that doesn't look right. Like just kind of glance at it, like that doesn't look right. And then look closer, and I think it was Project Gotham Racing 4. I haven't popped it in a console yet because I need to like disconnect from the internet and stuff because I don't know what's gonna happen. And then so like on the 360 discs, on like by where the hole in the middle of the disc is, how there's like that holographic thing, the kind of stickery thing. This one just says Xbox in green. Like green letters, and there's no holographic anything. And then so it's like the picture of Project Gotham Racing 4, but it's all like blurry and kind of like stretched,
like somebody printed it off their
yeah, but it's
printer.
actually printed on the disc. Like it's not like a paper thing, but it's actually printed on this disc. And then there's some, I don't know what language, but Asian letters on the side that is not normal. And then it also says, so this is actually what tipped me off first before anything, is it said NTSC U/C, which isn't that weird if it was a PS2 game. But ever since PS2 was the last generation where NTSC UC was actually specified. No 360 game will say NTSC is NTSC UC, then NTSC J is NTSC J. So that's wrong. So I don't know what it is. I mean, it's either a prototype or a counterfeit, and I don't think it's a prototype. So I don't know. I'm curious if I can like get it to do anything. Probably not without a modded console.
Yeah, just put it in your computer. See what happens.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But I mean, I love finding counterfeit games because they're so weird and they're so different. Like I have a counterfeit Pokemon Crystal that I bought.
I was just thinking about this because I'm like, you can put this on Creepypasta because they do this for Pokemon all the time, where these stories where people find these counterfeit cartridges that have all these weird
and
code.
Like the translation was super wrong and stuff. Like, because I saw this was years ago. Like this must have been like 10 years ago. Like I remember seeing it at one of the card shops I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh at, and I'm like, that's weird. That doesn't look right, because it was on a gray cartridge that says game. Like that like generic counterfeit Pokemon cartridge or Game Boy cartridge. It's like it was that one, but like this was at a time when like this is shortly after Game Boy Advance had come out, so it was like a working counterfeit that had a game on it and everything. So I didn't think that's what it was. I thought it was just like something weird. And no, I mean, clearly it was counterfeit. I should go back and look at it actually, because it's been a really long time since I've even popped it in a console. But yeah, I mean, it was like one of those ones that you see like where it's all weird and it's not really the right game, but it like kind of is.
What you're gonna put it in your console, and it's gonna start playing a Rick Astley video. So just don't be surprised when that happens.
This Gotham Racing.
Yep.
I just saw a thing on Twitter the other day actually where somebody found a VHS tape at a thrift store that just said "surprise" on it.
Oh dear.
And it had some like creepy like Rick Astley video or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Which is like, if I saw a videotape at a thrift store that said "surprise," I would buy that in a second.
That's funny.
Sounds real dicey.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry for interrupting you, but
no, it's okay.
I had to jam that in before I forgot.
I don't have.
I'll update next episode maybe if I.
You should. Yeah, let us know what you find on there.
See what happens with this counterfeit game.
So it might be something interesting. It probably is nothing. It's probably just a dud. But
I mean, it's probably a counterfeit game from China. Like I know you can buy them. Right. Like you can buy them on Taobao. They're like 3 yen or something. They're super cheap.
Yeah.
But I assume it just looked kind of too good for that. But I don't know. We'll see.
You'll have to send some pictures. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'll post the pictures.
So what did I say? I said Halo, and I played some Borderlands. Just some stuff I do normal. I played some more Marvel Puzzle Quest, which I've been doing lately. I got some a little bit further in that. I haven't played too many games this week. Other than that, I popped in Dragon Mania Legends on Windows only because I heard they had patched what wasn't working before, and I had already earned the last achievement, but I thought I had gotten glitched out of it or whatever. But nope, it popped when I loaded that up. So that game's done, and I'm never going to play it again. So suck it, stupid Dragon Mania game. I've also been working on Wanted Weapons of Fate, doing my second playthrough on that, and headed towards the end of it. Other than that, the big one for me this week is yesterday I picked up, because my friend had gone home early from work, and he's like, hey man, there's this big spring sale going on. Let's play a game together. I'm home from work early. I'm like, okay. Well, we actually finally settled on A Way Out.
Oh yeah.
So we got up to the final scene this evening before he had to leave. So we played the whole game essentially, and I don't know what happens in the last scene, but I know everything up until that point. Yeah. This is a very interesting game. So I found out this is by the developers who did Brothers. And there's also a very overt Brothers reference in the game.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So I'm not sure how the game ends, though I have some suspicions. But I'm not going to go into spoilers or anything like that. So don't worry about that. Man, this game should be called Bromance the Game. It's a really interesting co-op experience, and it's like you're playing these two macho dudes, going through this story about how they have to break out of prison and get their revenge. And again, this is not spoilery. This is all sort of stuff you pick up right away. And but the game is about obviously the core relationship between these two guys. And there's a lot of interesting language and suggestive. I don't know. That's not that important. But there's just like the whole time we were playing it together was like, man, at some point our characters are just gonna embrace each other, and we're just kind of waiting for it to happen.
Have a moment.
I don't think it's actually gonna happen, but it's like played that way. Anyways, it's an interesting experience because it's co-op. Obviously, the whole game's designed around co-op, and even though we're playing online, it's split screen co-op.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of really interesting things with the cameras and stuff like that. Like most of the time, it's just 50-50, like split screen, like you're playing on the couch next to each other. But, obviously you're doing different things for the different characters. So sometimes if one character is doing something more important, his side of the screen will kind of dynamically increase as he gets closer to his objective or whatever, or, and starts talking to a character. And like they do really interesting things with how the camera works. I don't know. The game is. I'm glad that there's not like play the game 3 times over or 4 times over, because it doesn't feel deep enough for that.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting co-op experience, and I'm enjoying it for what it is, and I'm glad that we'll kind of be done with it after tomorrow. But it does have one feature that annoys me, like Brothers did, where you can go through the whole game and not hit any of the achievements unless you're actually paying attention to like a guide or something like that.
Oh, really? So Brothers.
Just exactly like Brothers. If you played just the story in Brothers, you would beat the game and have no achievements, essentially, unless you stumbled upon them. And just like Brothers, this game, you'll hit your last achievement. If you're following a guide, you'll hit your last achievement before the end of the story.
Oh, really?
So it's the structure is very, very, very similar. So we're gonna play the last of it out because we've gotten 90% of the achievements and we hit the last ones. So we don't need to, but we're gonna hit the last of the story. I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
So all right, yeah. Now you just said your thing, Randy. If you played this game, would you finish the story, or are you done after achievements?
No, I would finish the story, especially in a game like this that's clearly story driven. I couldn't not finish.
I think it's ridiculous of the people who are like, "Yep, I'm done with Brothers. I'm just here for the Gamerscore. Thanks." Like, come on.
Yeah, and I mean, what's it going to take you? Like 30 minutes?
Yeah, if that. Yeah.
I mean, I get it if you're in a competition or something, but I mean, if you're just playing games, I mean, whatever. Like, enjoy the last. You've made it this far. Enjoy the last bit.
Yeah. Okay.
In those people's defense, because I was one of those people, Brothers telegraphed their story way more. Not way more, I shouldn't say. Telegraphed the ending of the story, like from the beginning, from the get-go. You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I stopped playing the game after that last achievement, and I watched like a YouTube of the playthrough of that last bit, and it was exactly what I was expecting. So
okay.
You don't need to play it. I mean, I know there's arguments that you should. Okay, I can see what you're saying, but that was kind of clear that they were going in that direction. Not to give any spoilers out, you just kind of saw what was happening beforehand.
Yeah.
This is a little more ambiguous. And the way that they set up the story, like you have each character. There are certain points in the game where you have to choose. Are you going to go with character A's decision, or are you going to go with character B's decision? Now, me and my friend were kind of confused because when we first came to this thing, so what do you want to do? Do you want to do your character's thing, or do you want to do the other character's thing? And you would naturally, of course, I'm going to pick my character. He's going to pick his character. Well, you actually have to agree. It's you have to say one way or the other. So you kind of have to decide what you want to do. But that kind of crafts the story a little bit in how these things play out. I imagine that's how the story is going to end, but I'm not exactly sure. So there's a little more fluidity in exactly how everything flows. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, we're right at the end.
Are you at all intrigued about doing the other options, even though there's nothing in it? Like, are they not branching enough to be...
They're not branching enough. Like, it kind of reconverges, it seems, towards the middle. So, I don't want to give too much away. It's too new. You cut, like, for example, you come upon this one situation. Do you go this left path or the right path? You pick either or, and you do that struggle for that path. And then you can kind of tell eventually it comes right back to where you would meet in the middle.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? But of course the ending can be different. The ending can be much more definitive. It could be, where it could be like, okay, now this is one ending and the other ending is very, very different.
Yeah. Interesting.
But that's speculation. Like I say, we're like literally racing out of the end of the game. We're like at the final chase scene. So I'm not exactly sure how it ends. And I am curious to see how it ends. I don't even know. Again, it's probably like a brother situation for me where me and him will play it through, and I'll see our ending, and then I'll look it up on YouTube later. I don't think I'll go back and replay that last part of the chapter. I'll just find it out somewhere else.
Interesting. All right. Cool.
But it's a solid game.
Yeah, I could see that though, but like I would still want to finish at least one ending and see what happens.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. And it's a fun game, and I what I can say is I really appreciate that they set the price point at $30. And that they give you the option to essentially gift the game to somebody else to play it with. Obviously, the game is completely designed around co-op, and it's.
You have to play it co-op, don't you?
Yeah, essentially. We're still waiting, and we mentioned last show about waiting for the YouTube video of the dude playing with his hands and feet, where he can do it by himself.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Rock Band drum set.
Well, the game isn't terribly difficult. I would imagine you could possibly do it that way. There's a few like shooting sections. It's obviously more story oriented than,
I mean, I played through all of Kane and Lynch co-op by myself twice.
This wouldn't be nearly as intense as that would be.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is like I just kind of see it as that same kind of similar built around co-op mechanic where, and yeah, there are like 2 or 3 levels that are a real pain, but the rest of it is pretty doable. You just kind of like have to be careful, like, hide someone somewhere while you do what you're doing, and then hide that person and then move up with the other one.
So this is a little different because you sometimes you do have to be doing things concurrently. Like you actually have to be actively working on 2 separate tasks at the same time.
Well, there's the one where they showed that like, I don't know if it's up an elevator shaft or something, but it's like the back-to-back wall crawl.
Oh, yes. Yep. That was a good sequence. So basically, yeah, you're trying to escape from prison. Again, not a spoiler. That's kind of it's called A Way Out. So
yeah, I mean, that's kind of...
And you link arms, you go back to back, and it was actually a really interesting mechanic where you kind of have this bar. You both have this bar that goes across the screen, and you have to hit the button to sync it at the same time. And now if you go too fast and your partner doesn't go fast enough, you're going to go crooked. So one person's going to be up above the other person, and then you'll slip and fall and stuff like that. So and you have a little bit of leeway. One person can make one mistake, but you have to correct for that mistake. So
yeah, interesting.
Not that it's...
Can you die?
You can. It's very infrequent, and if you get to a part where you do die, the checkpoint is right there, and you just go right back to that section. Again, it's more about cooperation than challenge, if that makes sense. And it doesn't get stale because you're always doing something new. It's never like Kane & Lynch is a shooter game. Well, this game is not like that. You're not always you shoot once. There's one big shooting sequence. It's not like you're always
spoilers.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
Anyways, I've enjoyed my time with the game, but it's short. We played it, like I said, we played it last night and tonight, and we're on the final scene. But it's man, $30, especially for two people, if you're going to go that route, is pretty solid. But I'm sure it's going to be on. Wait 2 months, it's going to be on sale for $15, and that it'll be a steal for that price for sure. It's a lot of an interesting co-op experience, and it's in an interesting story as well. So that's good stuff. And that's it. Yeah, awesome. That was it. I played a way out, and that was it for me.
Wow. Well, I myself, I had a pretty darn busy week. With the end of March here, getting ready for April, I had a bunch of things to finish, like the True Achievements birthday challenge, like the Gamertag challenge for Rocker Dude, get a little RTDL out of the way, and want to finish the game of the month. So let's see. Well, I played some Paladins, that super short, I guess you call it a twin stick shooter. It's kind of like Missile Command, only you're flying a ship above the cities.
Super short.
It's super short. So I just played enough to get the letter I needed, and I was like, I'm going to save these for quick points later. Like, I don't want to burn this whole thing here. And then, there's a handful of stuff I just dabbled in to get letters. Enslaved Odyssey of the West, Cell Damage, Kill the Bad Guy, Wheels of Aurelia, and Echoes of the Fae. Nothing worth talking about there. Maybe when I get into them deeper, but even that Wheels of Aurelia is terrible. Played a ton of Fallout Shelter, of course. That's what I do now at work. And so I'm making great progress on that. And thank you guys so much for the hot tip on the Microsoft Solitaire collection, that 25th anniversary set. There is literally 15, not even 1, 2, 3. There's 10 games that you have to play to complete a collection for the Star Club. And so I did that. I got the other Star Club achievement. Now, the only thing I need to do now is 30 games of Spider Solitaire, which is super easy. I like challenging Spider Solitaire games, but I also just want to get it done. So, like, I set it to easy, solvable, and like it literally just takes 4 to 5 minutes just to move all the things around. But it's so pointless, and it's like, man, I cannot just sit down and do that for 30 times in a row is 2 hours. It's like, ugh. So I try to spread that out, but it never sounds appealing at all. But that'll be my last achievement for the Microsoft Solitaire collection. I played a bunch of Happy Wars, a lot more today, just with double XP, trying to get that thing wrapped up. And we had some success in Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare this week. But the big things I want to talk about, I got 4 games here that are relatively exciting, or at least had some fun with. The first one, Air Guitar Warrior Gamepad Edition. Nice and easy completion, guys. Super fast. Not super fast, but a fun, side-scrolling shooter, really. And I guess technically you can call it a rhythm game. I played a little bit for the Kinect, and the Kinect is much harder, and the ratios show that. And I mentioned for my RTDL, I had the legendary guitar. That's the last one that you unlock at the end of the game, and getting 1,000 kills with that. Again, not terribly difficult to get to that, or to unlock that achievement on the Gamepad edition, but like to do the Kinect version is no thanks. Eventually I'll get around to it, but I moved my Kinect Xbox to the basement, so I don't even have a good setup for it now. So I'm kind of Kinect-less on the one until I get this thing sorted out. And then I had 2 random to-do list achievements in the game Hue, Hue. That's the color where you change the background color, and it'll affect items that are that will make platforms disappear, or things reappear, shifting the perspective on the puzzles. It's super fun. It's the music reminds me of Minecraft, and it's just the story's fine. It's nothing crazy. A little boy trying to find his mom, But I really enjoyed the color swapping mechanics. They do enough interesting things with the puzzles. I think what was really rewarding about this is that I solved nearly all the puzzles by myself, which, again, I wasn't rushed to get the achievements. So, it felt nice to just be able to actually play a game and, try and figure out the puzzles. Sometimes they're really intuitive, and sometimes you got to push blocks around and think, okay, what is I trying to do here? There's got to be a means to this madness. And then all of a sudden when it clicks, you get that really great aha moment of oh yeah, cool. That was really neat. So I needed 2 colors in the wheel left. Each of those is an achievement. And then the final area is, the university, finishing that. So that's finish the game. At the end of the game, you watch the credits. There's 4 achievements. And then I went back this afternoon and got all of the chemistry flasks that are floating around. Finished that. So completion on Hue. And completion on Air Guitar Warrior Gamepad Edition. But by far, my win of the week. So I don't know if anybody listened to my... Boy, I didn't even upload it to YouTube, I don't think. The stream of Manuel Samuel last Sunday. So I was working on time trials, and the timing on those is very tight. So the first 3, they'll tell you what your gold time is. I hit it exact all 3 times. And now, certainly not my first try, but when I was successful and got my gold medal, it was exactly on the par time. That's how close it was. And I made it to, I got a silver on the work where you have to put the little ball inside the robots. I dramatically failed on the walking robot, and I had booted up the last one. There's only 6 time trials. The fight with the fight with the devil at the end. And midway through that stream, my house erupts into panic. And I wonder, I should actually pull the video just to see what was going on in chat, because I feel like people thought maybe I was getting swatted or something. Because all of a sudden, I throw my controller down, rip the headset off. People thought, well, maybe I just rage quit. That could be the other thing. I got so frustrated, I just threw everything in. My daughter was projectile vomiting all over her room.
Oh, no.
And so it was a total disaster. So, we're scrambling at 11:30 midnight trying to get this all squared away. And we couldn't quite figure out what did she eat that was different from us? And I had no idea. She ended up throwing up till 2 a.m. So about 3-4 hours of straight violent chunder. And so that was miserable. So my wife stayed home with her on Monday. And so when I was at work, I think it was, I don't know what ended up happening. It was Tuesday night. I had to, I had some errands or something. I came home. Wife starts throwing up like crazy. I mean, just everywhere, violently so. She thought she was going to get, hurt herself because she was just getting destroyed. I think it was Wednesday night. So this whole week, I've been up to my elbows in chunder. It's been awful. And then even last night, Thursday night, my daughter lets loose again. And so, at 1 a.m., I'm vacuuming up all this nastiness. But this was after our Plants vs. Zombies session. And Koosh Moose can attest to how much I was working at these Manuel Samuel time trials. Because at 1:35 a.m., I finished that robot at part-time, got the gold. Holy feces! I finished this game, and it feels so good. Man, that was such an epic win getting this thing done. Especially with how awful this week has been for disease and sickness in my house. Thankfully, I've dodged it so far. I'll knock on wood. And that'll probably get picked up on the microphone. But anyway, it's the game.
I have to ask you.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, Fream.
What's up?
Because I feel like you and I were kind of the same mind last week when we talked about this.
Right.
We were both essentially, we made it through one playthrough. We were kind of like, I kind of don't really want to go for this.
Yeah.
I got to ask, well, not that I'm going to be able to do it in one day, but is it worth it? Was it as terrible as you were dreading it was going to be? Do you feel it was more doable than you were expecting?
So the first one, waking up in the house, it took me about 4 or 5 runs, maybe 6 runs. And you could tell, like, oh boy, I slipped up there. Okay. And then when you miss it by 6 seconds or 7 seconds, you're like, okay, yeah, but if I just tighten this up a little bit, like, I bet I can get it. And so you just kind of work at it, and you get a nice rhythm. And then, so, okay, not so bad. The driving, first time, easy. Finish that, no problem. It's really just straight. Get up to 5th gear, hold it down, and then just swerve back and forth to avoid old ladies. Super easy, not a problem. The going into work, not great, but all you have to do is essentially, the most challenging part is the speaking minigame. And that took me a few times, maybe, another 5 or 6 times, but I ended up getting that one, not terrible. The 3 that are just awful are the last 3. The one where you're at work and you have to put those cores into the robots and then open the door and put the 2 in the big one. I struggled mightily with that. I could get to, like, the part-time is 210 and I was getting 218 consistently, 218, 220. And I couldn't really figure out where it was. I just kept getting hung up on the breathing, and I kept getting hung up on using the R and L bumps to interact with things. Because if you don't, maybe it's my controller. I don't know why it's just not so responsive. Maybe that's just intentional with the game, but, like, if you mistimed the hit, like, it wouldn't register that you hit the button, and so then you have to, like, double click, but because you are taking your thumb off there or your finger off of there, I'm crab holding it. There's the chance that you're going to drop it on the ground, and so it was super frustrating for that one. It took me a while, but I eventually got that one down. That felt really good to finish. Like, that was one of those kind of nice yes moments. That felt nice. The fight with the devil wasn't terrible. The biggest issue is just how much you have to memorize with the final boss, and just making sure that you do the right timing and the right blocking or dodging or whatever. Here's a tip, and it's in the walkthrough, and it's super helpful. When you're in the demon meat suit at the beginning, don't fight the demons right away. Just walk all the way until you hit an invisible wall, kind of where that, like, dude is the ticket taker into hell. And they all get bunched up there. And so once you can't walk any further, then you just spam R bump or L bump, one of them, to swing your sword, and the bad guys will just walk right into it. And occasionally you'll get killed or knocked down, but, like, there's plenty of time to do that. And I think I was finishing that portion in, like, a minute. And so then I had 5 minutes or so, 4 or 5 minutes to finish the boss, the Satan boss. And you can't, you got to do that pretty much a straight, like, a mistakeless run. You can make a couple of, maybe one mistake, but you need to be pretty on top of your game to not mess that one up. So that was tricky, but doable. And then comes the robot, where you are in command of the robot, and that by far is the worst. It is a short part-time, and it is a long level. Chin Doctor was mentioning in the chat today, and I totally agree. When I did it the first time, I was struggling quite a bit, trying to, like, switch between weapons and making sure that I was doing the most damage and trying to get guys with one hit versus just finishing them off. And so when you're going through that, here's a couple of tips. A, use the machine gun more often than not. If you're going against a big guy, use the machine gun on the missile, and then, on his missile, and then switch to your missile, send one missile, switch the machine gun, and finish him off. Like, that's really the only times you use the missiles. Number 2, use your shield. I got a great rhythm down of hitting R bump to shoot my machine gun and hitting L bump to block bullets. You can't get knocked down because when death has to fix you up, kills your part time. So anytime you take too many bullets and go down, that's it. Tip number 3, do not blow up the buildings behind the guy. Not a automatic restart, but if you do hit a building, especially with a missile, you can hit them with a machine gun every now and again. But if you damage it to the point where people run out, then Samuel will puke when he leaves, and that takes up a ton of extra time that you don't need. When you throw death, make sure you have your machine gun on. If you have your missile on, you're in big trouble because you're going to get just overrun and wrecked. And then finally, when you have the option to pick up the car, kill the one robot right in front of the car, then pick up the car and throw it at the other 5 that are sitting there. You'll blow up 4 of the 5, except for the shield guy. You can saves like 40 seconds of time. It was amazing. Like, that is a super key to getting this done on time. And then the final thing is on the boss. When you do missile, and in between missiles, only do 2 machine gun fires. You can fit a third one in, but then you can't flip over to your missile fast enough to get 3 missiles in. So if you do missile, gun, missile, gun, missile, sometimes you can hit with that third missile if your timing is pretty nice, and that will help you get her down in 2 cycles. But man, okay, so you hear all those things, right? It was totally worth it to get it done. And I will admit the only reason I did this week is because the GTAC bonus is high ratio. And looking at those achievements, it was like, oh boy, that would help out a ton, because then when I play the next game I'm going to talk about, where I get a bunch of low ratio achievements, like that's going to help out a ton and cushion me, because those are all 5s. Those ratios are all 5s. And all 4 of them, if you can boost that or preload that and get 1500 TA in 1 2-minute run, which is awesome. So super worth it. I definitely, I'm glad it's done, and I finished it in the month too, which is even greater. So that helps out a lot. Final thing, and this will lead kind of into our discussion a little bit here. I took my maiden voyage in Sea of Thieves today. I still, of course, it's the game of the month in April, where we, when this comes out, you will have been able to see my YouTube video of the first Sunday where I streamed the game. But I wanted to get in there and just test it out and make sure I understood the mechanics and I understood, right? Because everybody who's talked about it so far has said, boy, it'd be really great if there's a tutorial. Because it literally took me 15 minutes to even figure out how to pull out my sword. Because I was like, It's got to be Y, right? I mean, that's changing weapons is Y. Like, I've played enough video games where this makes sense, but I keep pulling up this banana. Like, put the banana down and give me my sword. Where is it? I don't even know how it eventually came out, because I was hitting every button. Finally, it worked. I don't know. But
it's bad.
It's so goofy. And then, I'd like to say I'm a pretty good shipsman. I went solo. I was trying to do like a local co-op thing, but I didn't have the game downloaded down here, and I don't have Review Zed wasn't over, so he couldn't really help out. And, anyway, it was a thing, but I was going to go on a boat ride with my son. Didn't happen. So I just said, hey, you and I play solo, and we'll just cruise around and go on some adventures. And so, you head out on the boat, and I scuttled so many boats. And I did a decent job of being able to, get the sail down and then bring it back up when I coast into an island, and then I'll turn, get nice, drop the anchor. But for, I would always maybe cut it a little too close. And so then when I parked my boat, like the anchor would my boat would just be rubbing up against rocks with that anchor. And I would always forget to like go downstairs and patch up holes and stuff. So eventually I'd turn around and I'm like, oh, there's a green signal flare. That's weird. Oh, yeah, that's that stupid mermaid. I wonder where my boat is. Yep. So whatever. That I had nothing of value, so I didn't care. So I finally figured out how the quest system works, and I decided to. The first quest giver was the lady who gives the kind of the bounties to go hunt down the skeletons. That was the first one I found. So I picked up all 3. I didn't realize I had a limit of 3. So I picked them all up. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go kill skeletons. This will be great. And found my first island, found the skeletons, started shooting them. I killed a couple of skeletons, the first wave, the first 4. And when I was out there, I was like, oh, cool. There's a shiny thing. Oh, found a message in a bottle. That's fun. Oh, cool. This fancy green skull. Well, that's neat. And then so I grabbed it, I hopped on my boat, and I took off, and I went home. I'm like, great, I finished the quest. All right. No, that doesn't finish the quest. When you're fighting the skeletons, you have to kill all the skeletons, and then like 2 more waves of skeleton comes, then the named skeleton comes. I just thought I was looking for those skulls. So granted, I went and sold it back to the lady. She gave me some money, and then I realized the quest hadn't gone anywhere. So I was like, oh, I better go back to that island because I must have missed something. So I'm on the island shooting skeletons, and a 4-man crew, a galleon, shows up, and they just start shooting my boat with cannonballs. And I'm like, well, I mean, what am I going to do? It's a big old boat. Like, I don't care. I don't have anything of value. I'm just killing skeletons here. And then, of course, when you get close enough, proximity chat kicks in. And so I'm on the island fighting skeletons, and I hear over the side 2 dudes, and they're like, oh man, his boat's getting wrecked. Yeah, okay, well, hey, let's go over there. And then I turn my head, and I see both of them are on my deck, cruising around my boat, looking for something. He goes, oh god, this boat's sinking. We got to get out of here. And then I now I'm fighting the boss skeleton, and in a sword fight with him, and I hear the guy in the boat go, I'm just going to go kill him. I'm like, great! I am really excited that you guys destroyed my boat and are just here while I'm just peacefully doing my quest. You're just going to come grief me. And sure enough, I kill the skeleton and I get executed. So it said voyage complete. I finished the mission, but I couldn't cash it in because I didn't get maybe I did get credit for it. Anyway, I got killed. It respawned somewhere else. I'm like, well, isn't that a piece of turd? So let's try to avoid boats. Great. This will be fun. How about I just go cruising and in the skyline, there's that big skull cloud. Have you seen that thing, Proulx? Have you been back to the game?
Oh, yeah. No.
I should admit, you'll probably see on the stream, have seen on the stream, or will have known already. The achievements are working. They're very, very delayed, very lagging. Like at some point when I was fighting those skeletons, I ate a banana. That was my first healing banana I ate, and I think the achievement popped after I had respawned and was sailing, and it said banana crunch. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's about a 15-minute delay, but it showed up. So I'm happy about that. Equally long, I think around that time, I quote unquote set sail on my first voyage, which I had already gone on sailed 3 times prior to that. But again, finally cleared the backlog. The achievements are popping. But so after I got killed from that skeleton, I was like, oh, well, let's go find another skeleton. He's on this island. Okay, I found him. Let's go cruise. Oh, it's over by that skull head. So, we'll go see what's over in that area. Well, when you get closer to an island, it zooms in. Here it is, Cannon Cove. Okay, that's real close. Hey, what's that in the water over there? Oh, I'm going to go check it out. Oh, it's a shipwreck. Well, that's pretty cool. And I had swam pretty far to go get it. I'm like, there's got to be something in this shipwreck. They wouldn't just put a shipwreck out here there's got to be treasure somewhere. So I'm diving down, and my kids are watching me do this, and they are like panicking because I am clearly underwater too long. And then eventually you get to the point where you start the screen's flashing red. I'm looking at my health bar and it's not going down that fast. So I'm not worried, but they're like, Dad, you got to get out, Dad. You can't breathe. You're going to die. You got, I mean, it was like just nerve-wracking for them.
Flashbacks to Sonic's
maybe
drowning noises.
Right. Yeah. And there wasn't even scary music though. But I made it to the top of the boat. And I'm like, I'll get my third time down. I'm like, I know there's something in here. I got to go deep into the hull. We'll find something. And sure enough, there it is. Skull. I'm like, cool. All right, I found this thing. Great. Now I got to go. And I get to the surface. Sure enough, green signal flare. I'm like, oh, crap. We don't even have a freaking boat. All right, well, I'm going to go to the Cannon Cove. That's where I parked my boat. I'm going to swim over there and get it. So I'm swimming, getting over to the island. Let's get on there. Maybe if I respawn, I don't know what's going to happen with my skull, because I feel like I need a boat, but maybe I'll be able to steal one, whatever. Swim to the island, and all of a sudden, flashes of red. I get knocked all crazy, and I was attacked by a shark. And my son's like, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was coming. Look at that. And so I'm like, I get to the shore, damaged from the shark, but I see he's kind of out in the ocean a little bit more. I'm like, I got to go. I don't have a boat, though. So I got to swim and talk to the mermaid. Maybe I'll keep my skull. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I need to go talk to the signal flare guy. And I dip my foot in the water. I got about shoulder deep into it. And the shark came up and finished the job. I got mauled. And there goes that run. And so that, finally, though, I had about 3 or 4 successful runs after that. Picked up some treasure. Completed some bounties. Okay. You take out all the douchebags on the ocean. I'm enjoying it. I'm having some fun. Yeah, F word. I'm having some F word. I'm not going to lie to you. The griefers are by far the worst thing in that game. I have no interest in being a pirate.
It's interesting to me because that's the most potential for fun that I experienced. Like, we were rolling pretty deep with a 4-man crew, and I would have loved to come up against another 4-man crew.
Oh, I bet.
Otherwise, you're just doing those same. Like, if you weren't griefed at all, Fream, you would have just done those missions. You did the same missions just to go out to the same
types of islands. Oh yeah, I'm sure it would get sick. I played 3 hours today.
Yeah. So it's like. There's been complaints, right, that the game is shallow. Ha 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 ha. Shallow, ha ha. And I think I agree with that. But what kind of adds some flavor to that experience is multiplayer. You're with the single player, you're not going to experience any sort of variety. So if somebody is chasing you down or just coming after you or whatever, that's going to give you some more gameplay variety than just going for these X in the sands.
Well,
or whatever.
It certainly adds tension. I mean that's because I am constantly looking at the horizon. I'm looking, making sure no one's chasing me. I'm trying to hide my boat when I park it. Like, it certainly adds a level of tension to it, and so I get that. Like, I mean, I do get that. It'd be nice if it was opt-in.
I think the game too is designed around multiplayer. Like, I haven't played single player, but you were just explaining about how you were kind of manning the ship yourself, and that sounds like hell.
Oh, it's easy.
We had 4 people. I mean, I'm not saying it's.
Well, I just had a 1-man boat. I just did the 1-man sloop.
No, well, it's the 2-man boat, right? It's the schooner. I can't remember the name. It's the 2-man boat, but that's fine. But what I'm saying is, like, you even to get somewhere mundane or easy, you kind of have to be shifting back, which is fine for the first time. Like, okay, you're gonna jump up to the sails and open the sails, then you're gonna hop to the wheel and do the wheel, and then you're gonna hop back to the sails and to the anchor. That may be fine the first time. That may be fine the first 5 or 10 times. But if you have to do 300 of these missions and you opt to do them by yourself, solo, that is a chore.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, it's a chore with multiple people, but it's way more of a chore when you have to do all those positions yourself. The game is, I don't know, just feels And it's fine. It's okay for it to be multiplayer oriented. I just can't imagine doing it on my own.
I mean, doing the boat by myself, no problem. Especially that small. You know, you can manage between, you know, if you get the right bearing from the map and you understand, all right, I need to go south-southwest or I need to go wherever, you know, I probably need to check the map like twice just to make, you know, a couple key turns. And then between hoisting the sail, changing the sail angle, and moving the wheel, like it's not hard. So like doing it by myself, that certainly was not the issue. The issue was being able to then be on the lookout for anybody causing grief. You know, if I parked and then, you know, went on the island and fought some skeletons by myself, it was like I was a sitting duck, especially with such a small boat. But
I mean, but surely there's nothing you can do anyways. Even if you spotted a galleon, it's going to be faster than you and it's going to be better equipped than you. There's just not anything you are equipped to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So either they have to restrict the size of the groups in the server, or they're going to fundamentally change the game. I don't know. There's just a lot of issues that they have to deal with.
Now,
which I'm so frustrated with.
So I'm looking at one of my voyages says, you know, hunt down this pitiful crew, right? That's the headline. And then once you get there, it's last seen at Lonely Isle or around Lonely Isle. And are any of those ship combats, or is it all get off the island and fight skeletons? Okay.
Yep. I mean, as far as I'm aware, I'm not super far into the game, but I'm pretty sure that there's no,
because like
I don't believe there's PvE ship to ship.
That
stuff.
I would love that. Like if you had to fight skeleton ships. Like, I feel like that could, you know, then you could implement some type of dark zone type thing where it's like, oh, yeah, you want to, you know, sail the open seas, you get better treasure, but there's other people out there. Or you can play this toned down version, like if you just want kind of a casual experience. And yeah, there'll be ships. They're pirate ships, right? They're skeleton ships. But, you know, you have maybe a little bit more. They're not out hunting you. You have a little bit more choice whether to engage them or not. And then, you know, have that experience. I get why they wouldn't want to do it. They don't want to sever their player base and create these emergent stories. But, you know, when I'm I much rather play against an AI with friends. Like that's the multiplayer experience I want, not let's all get into a big ruckus and, you know, hopefully we come out on top. You know, because if in those instances where it's like, hey, I got, you know, like before this show, I was going to go sailing and I was going to throw out a signal and say, hey, anybody out there want to, you know, Randy's got his magic tournament. So, hey, I don't want to go sailing for, you know, 40 minutes. We'll just go cruising, see what we can come up with. But it's like, if I get into a boat and engage with an enemy, that engagement might take longer than 40 minutes. Like there's no good stop time for me where it's like, I just got to bail on you guys. Sorry, good luck. Your ship's going to get sunk. You know, like you can't kind of just go in and out necessarily. I mean, maybe you can. You just have to dodge combat and just do a mission here and there. I don't know. This game definitely is, as a foundation, I think it's very promising. It's got some really cool ideas, and I think it has some potential areas that you can really add some unique things. I'd be curious where they build on this.
Yes, I agree. It is an interesting concept for a game. I don't think they have any business selling it for $60. I guess if it comes with your Games Pass, it's not a big deal. But it's terribly, terribly frustrating, and I do agree. I think in a year, we're going to see all these. We're going to read these articles from all these, you know, these organizations that are like, oh man, Sea of Thieves is amazing now. This is after the Sea of Thieves Zombies expansion or whatever, and all like. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff they can build on top of it. It's just frustrating that they put this out as a product, as a complete and whole product, and it feels totally.
How fun would it be, like, to do, like a island building? Like you could build a base on an island, right? Like you can construct your little fort or something. That'd be cool. Kind of fun. I don't know. There's so many ways they can go with this. One way that they're not going to go, and this actually brings it into the news now, is the death tax. Rare had talked about this in the past, and they said, hey, when you die, the captain of the ferry was going to take some money from you, as a fee to bring you back to life. And he said rates are going to be dependent on the cause of death, so the more avoidable the death, the less patience the captain will have when you enable this feature. Like, for instance, I died when I was trying to climb down my crow's nest and instead catapulted myself off the boat and landed on a rock and died. That likely would have cost me a decent amount of money.
So like when, like the ladder incident in Grand Theft Auto a few weeks back?
Yeah, something dumb like that. That would have cost you more to come back to life. But if you got summarily executed like I did, likely be less costly. Actually, my son got on a different boat. He was messing around and he was trying to figure out how to set sail. So he was docked at one of the outposts and he was like, okay, so what do I do now? I'm like, all right, you got to lower the sail, do this. And while he's sitting in his boat, messing around with the map, a galleon comes up and just starts shelling him in the boat. And he's literally sitting at the dock doing nothing and he's just getting shelled. And so I'm like, buddy, your boat's going down. So the best thing you can do right now, jump off the boat, swim to that big boat, get on there and just start killing dudes. And he's like, that sounds like fun. I'm going to go do that. So he climbs up on there and there was only 2 people on the boat. We're not paying any attention. They were just cannonball after cannonball. So my son came up and just cut down this one woman, blast in with the cannon. Like she had no clue we had climbed on the boat. So he executes her and then doesn't... The sword swinging is not responsive at all. And so he was trying to hit it too fast and not get into a rhythm. And so the other guy took him out. But you're able to see both of them on the ferry at the end. Anyway, I don't know what killing somebody in cold blood would do. Like if that's more expensive or less. It doesn't matter. Not going in the game. They said... and rightfully so, I would have complained too. Community outcry has been unpopular on this. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you do this? A couple of comments. One, this was through Twitter. This will absolutely destroy the game for newer players, as well as increase toxicity. Another post. This doesn't make any sense. Punishing death is the worst idea anyone can come up with here. Here's an idea, a crazy one. Make surviving rewarding instead of dying discouraging. And then the other one, another comment, attacks on sunken ships is far more beneficial. Makes us more attached to our ship, discourages scuttling to restock on supplies and people fleeing from combat. Anyway, those are all, interesting things. It's great to hear that they're listening. There's a lot of people playing this game right now, but it's certainly going to be interesting to see where it goes, and I'm excited to play with the community. I'm excited to get on a boat with all my friends who listen to this show, who are open on Sunday nights from 10 till midnight, and we can go cruising around in a boat for a while, have some adventures, dig up some treasure, shoot some other pirates, whatever. It'll be great. So again, join me. You can check on my mixer.com/freamhole. I'll send out a message on Discord, likely to try and pull some people in. So discord.io/Z2Z if you're interested in being a part of my crew. What about you guys? When are you guys doing any streaming? You want to come on my boat, Proulx? You have any interest? It's a little late for you, I think.
Yeah,
though,
sure.
Right?
I don't know. It's a little late, and Sundays don't generally work for me. But maybe we'll see. Well, I'm sure there will be a time that we will cross paths on one of the rare seas.
Absolutely. Randy, do you have any interest in playing Sea of Thieves?
Not now. I did initially. The achievements are way too grindy for something I'm going to put on my tag. That's for sure. But I mean, and kind of a
lot of multiplayer focus.
Not even just the multiplayer focus. It's just that it's like get 500 quests of this kind and 500 of this kind. It's like it's going to take like 500 hours of just doing the same 3 quests.
The quests don't take that long.
But
I was doing those voyages in less than 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. But still 500.
Been killed.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, and then getting killed. But I saw the ones where you had to take out other players, not to sink other people's boats. I think the one thing I will say about the achievements, which I enjoy, and I'm trying not to look at any of the guides right now, which is super rewarding for me playing today, was when an achievement popped because you're just doing something. Now, granted, it was delayed, so it was like, oh, that thing I did, that turns out that was cool, great. But they're, being riddles, it makes it like, it's a puzzle. It's like yet another thing you have to figure out, which is rewarding from an achievement standpoint of like, okay, what exactly does this mean? Like I know there's the puking in a bucket one. Didn't realize you had to throw it at somebody. And my kids thought it was hilarious when I barfed in a bucket and I tried to put out the fire with it. They thought that was the funniest thing ever. And I was like, this should get me an achievement, I think. Didn't happen. I did get the achievement for getting drunk, which my kids are like, what's wrong with your guy? I'm like, he had way too much soda. He's not doing well.
Special soda.
And when you get smashed in that game, like you are
it
all
is so
over the place.
Over the top. It is so over the top.
It is nuts.
It was so funny because when the first time I played it, that was the first thing we all did because we were all achievement people. And so we're all just, because you spawn inside of this bar on the island.
The tavern, right?
So we all just get drunk. And someone's like, I literally just walked out the door and I wasn't even moving. I wasn't even touching my controller and I just left the bar because that's how drunk I was. It's so impossible to control yourself when you're drunk in that game. It's so silly.
Have you been poisoned yet?
Would you get bit by a snake or something?
I got bit by a snake. I looked. It was like, oh, is that a periscope? What is that? That's weird. And then I was like, oh, cool. Oh, geez,
in
it's
the middle
a snake.
of the island.
Yeah, right. In ancient. Yeah. Anyway, I was like, oh, it's a snake. Look at that. And I was like, I wonder if I can kill it with my sword. No, you cannot. And so like I got bit, and like the whole screen turns purple, like you got spit on by like that dinosaur in Jurassic Park, where you're just blinded. And that happened to be an island where I was doing one of the skeleton bounties. So all of a sudden I'm beset upon by 4, skeleton toughs. And I can't see. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Eventually it goes away, but like there's snakes all over that island. And I was like, this is literally a sandbar. Like, what the hell are you doing here, snakes? Anyway, I feel free in the fact that like I don't know what I'm doing in that game, and I don't know, like I'm not grinding toward anything right now. Like that's a fun experience again of like the achievements. I'm just playing for fun, and the achievements that come, here they come, and so be it. Eventually it'll get to, okay, I need another 350 treasures to dig up. All right, here we go. Another 280 voyages to drop off this barrel of gunpowder. Like, yeah, okay. I see the long game, and that's not going to be great. But at that point, I think, hopefully they continue to add to it, continue to build to it, and make it fun. Oh, boy. That was a lot of Sea of Thieves talk, guys. Let's switch gears, because, Randy, we missed you last week, and something tells me you have some thoughts on some of the topics that we had.
I even put one in the Trello this week to
I see that because you're so excited to play Smash Brothers with Banjo and Kazooie.
Yes. Well, kind of. Now, what are the games that Microsoft and Nintendo have collaborated on that you guys were talking about? Through Rare, obviously.
They have actually collaborated on?
Yeah, but they've worked together, because there was that reference to the tweet by Phil Spencer that says, oh, we've collaborated on Rare and Nintendo property before, or something like that, right?
It wasn't Donkey Kong.
Minecraft, for sure. Perfect.
Well, Minecraft's not Rare.
Yeah, it's not
That's
Rare.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Okay.
Because the tweet did specifically mention Rare IP, right?
Yes.
Oh, did
That's
it?
what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect Dark?
Nope. It's owned by Microsoft entirely.
Oh, interesting. GoldenEye?
That's where we're going next. So I kind of thought that tweet was actually kind of sarcastic, or supposed to be.
By Phil?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I can't think of any game that meets that criteria except for GoldenEye, and the reason that game is not published is because of Nintendo. That game was completed. someone has a build of Goldeneye for XBLA, fully redone like Turok, like not like redone graphics, but like upscaled to modern consoles, so it looks crisper, and you can turn it on and off to make it look old and new. Complete game, exactly true port. Nintendo comes in and says, "Nope, that's ours. You can't do it. You can't publish it." They may or may not have the right. So I was doing some digging on this recently, which is kind of why it's fresh in my mind. So like the story is Microsoft got the okay from Activision to use the James Bond license. And then of course Rare made Goldeneye. So Rare can remake Goldeneye and owns Goldeneye. And then but right before it was published, the way it sounded is Nintendo just came in and said, "No, this is a Nintendo property and you don't have the right to publish this," but they had no proof of that or anything. But Activision got scared and didn't want to kind of harm their relationship with Nintendo, so they said, "No, you can't use the license anymore. Don't publish it." So this is a game that had there was a team of 8 people at Rare that had been working on this game for over a year, and it's finished. And now Nintendo comes in and says, "Nope, can't publish it." And Microsoft even offered to also release it on the Wii store. Like that, which is, I would say that's a pretty big deal. Like, to be like, this is our IP, our game that we made. You can have it on your store if we can publish it.
I'm sure Nintendo did still have some licensing rights to it at the point.
But why would they?
Because
Microsoft owns all the other Rare IP that isn't a Nintendo IP.
No. I'm talking about to the license of the actual game itself, Goldeneye.
But why wouldn't they also have rights to the game itself, like Perfect Dark or Grabbed by the Ghoulies?
No, because Perfect Dark was owned by Rare, but Goldeneye was never owned by Activision or whoever it was.
But it wasn't. But was it owned by Nintendo? I mean,
no. But that's what I'm saying. There was a.
But Rare.
That's
but
why it's a
tricky.
Really it's a tricky licensing agreement where you have 3 separate companies. You have one that owns the IP, you have one that creates the game, and then one publisher. Now, I imagine that those rights are very, very tricky and not easy. You would need express permission from all 3 of those companies, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, this kind of made it sound like it was a little murky, that like people were like, or they're kind of like, well, Nintendo doesn't really have the rights to this.
Nintendo doesn't have the rights.
They say they do, but
and that may be the case as well.
Like,
that may be the case as well, but it would. You could say that maybe they didn't want to harm their relationship with Nintendo, but it also might be the fact that would be a tough case for any of those companies in court. But regardless, but
really, all it would have taken was Nintendo to not do anything or give permission.
Yeah, I know, I totally agree.
And you know, they pulled a Nintendo.
Well, the thing is, and that's a Nintendo from 8 years ago. That's not how Nintendo is now. Like, they've changed quite a bit.
But it's still not published. I mean, you think Microsoft doesn't still want to publish that?
No, I don't. I think there's not really as much interest as there was back then.
Oh, I think there's lots of interest.
I don't think so. I don't think Perfect Dark. I don't think the re-release of Perfect Dark set the world on fire.
No, but Goldeneye was and holds a much. It's viewed much thicker. The nostalgia glass around Goldeneye is much thicker than Perfect Dark, I would say, because everyone had Goldeneye. Everyone played Goldeneye. Perfect Dark was much later in the cycle and required an expansion pack, so not as many people played it, despite it being basically the same game. I think that would sell consoles. Not like a huge giant blockbuster sell consoles, but I think if that was an Xbox exclusive, people would buy an Xbox One to play Goldeneye.
No, God, I think you have rose-tinted glasses at this point. I don't think that's the case.
I mean, and that's not. I had a lot of fun with Goldeneye, and I mean, I know it's aged like garbage. I mean, those N64 shooters have pretty much, but I mean, they're still fun, but they look rough, and they're meant to be played with one joystick. And I would buy it in a second, no question.
I think people should remember
that
they got the better deal when they got Perfect Dark. You don't need. There's literally nothing in Goldeneye that you're not getting in Perfect Dark,
except Goldeneye.
Except Perfect Dark is literally better in.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. The fact that it's
if you
called
say
Goldeneye,
so.
That's all it would take.
It's
I think.
funny that you. So I was listening to Giant
anyway,
Bomb. Hold on, this is totally relevant to Goldeneye.
Okay.
I was listening to Giant Bomb, and they're talking about the fact that this was an older episode that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, that new game, is not showing up at EVO or at the Capcom fighting tournament. And it's because Disney is such a pain to work with that they can't get the Marvel things to work out. Like they're always got their hand out for money and stuff, and they're like, they create this cool product where you get Marvel characters in there, but now they can't use the X-Men because Disney doesn't have the rights to them. You can't do that.
Not to mention, Marvel vs. Capcom has been a thing for 20 years.
Yeah,
like that game's been around for ages.
Well, right, not the one,
not the new one. No, yeah,
not the new one, but that series.
Yeah, the series.
There have been Marvel vs. Capcom fighters
and that's the point that Disney now owns.
Ages.
That Disney now owns Marvel. And Disney's a much more protective company than Marvel was on its own. And we get stories all the time. We get stories about Tony Hawk games or Crazy Taxi or whatever getting pulled from the store for one single music track. Of course, and something like Bond, especially now, which is also kind of had its own renaissance. I don't think it's as easy as saying it's Nintendo just saying no. I think there's a lot of moving parts in this puzzle piece, and maybe it is Nintendo's that's a holdout. But
I mean, that's ultimately what it was when that game was being published.
But that was
everything else was in
7-8 years ago. I mean, that's ages ago now.
I mean, was it even that long? I mean, I think it was more like 5 years ago or something. I mean, I guess it's not that.
That would have still been. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was longer ago than we think it was, but
anyway,
I don't know. It's
to finish my point to support Proulx. They were suggesting like you create a new idea, Marvel. So you take Marvel out of it, and you're like Capcom All Stars or whatever, and you take some obscure, like you got the Firebrand gargoyle. Well, you can have some other random like a werewolf guy, and boy, his movesets are really similar to Wolverine. Like, you could just take the moveset from all, if we got this guy from this random dude from Resident Evil, he plays a lot like Captain America. It's really strange. And you could literally just apply the Marvel characters to a different skin. It's not. You're not
he's
there.
Not Wolverine, and he's not.
But why does
Captain
that matter?
America, though. Just like how Perfect Dark is not.
But why
Goldeneye.
does that matter? Why do you need James Bond when you could have Joanna Dark? Like, what is it about James Bond that makes it better?
Because you grew up with James Bond in the Golden Gun, in Bunker.
You can still play Bunker on. Is it Bunker?
That's true. You can still play Bunker.
Perfect Dark, yeah. So
yeah, I think they put all the maps in. So anyway, to finish that story. The reason that somebody has a complete build of that game that works and is finished is because one of the employees at Rare became a disgruntled employee after being told that, oh, you just worked on GoldenEye for a year? That is like the most loved game ever. And Nintendo just pulled the plug on it. So he's just like, here you go. Just gave it to someone. Published a video of gameplay of everything working. And like all the things that could have been. So maybe one day that'll surface when we have 360 emulators. We might be able to play GoldenEye Remastered.
There you go. I still think you're ridiculous in saying that the reason that game is successful is because it's a James Bond game.
No, that's not why it's successful.
That's why you want it.
That's why it's remembered so fondly.
I disagree.
Well, no,
I disagree with that.
Not even that. So it's not the gameplay that makes that game remembered fondly. It's the fact that, you played as Jaws in Bunker with a golden gun, however long ago on your N64.
No, Jaws is outlawed. Jaws and Odd Job. You can't.
No, Jaws, you could be Jaws all day.
Jaws is
because he's negative. Yeah, well, that's why you wouldn't play him. Nobody played him.
The other thing that was included in this, so this was released later. There was a second video released the multiplayer had make everyone the same height. So you could be any character you wanted, and they were all the same height. So it was even.
So you have this like,
which is genius. So you could
gangly,
be
homunculus odd job guy who just stretched out odd job. So he was.
I don't know. I don't know how it worked, but I mean that seemed like it seems like a pretty good idea. I don't remember what I was. Oh, but no, not that it's a James Bond property, but like that particular game. Even though Perfect Dark is effectively the same game, it's not the same game.
It is, but better. I mean, it is in every conceivable way. It is.
No, I know it is, but it's not the game that had that huge success and continues to have that huge following. I mean, of course, Perfect Dark was very well received and it was successful, but it wasn't Goldeneye. And in order to really get that, it has to be Goldeneye.
Sure.
Yeah.
It has to be that game.
I don't think the GoldenEye game that came out did particularly well because it was just called GoldenEye. I think it was a poor game and the sales reflected that. And Perfect Dark, which is a better N64 game, which came out on the Xbox, on the arcade, didn't sell. I mean, I'm sure it did fine, but didn't set the world on fire. And I don't think if you released GoldenEye, that version of GoldenEye, the remastered version of GoldenEye tomorrow, we would talk about it for 1 week and we would never talk about it again. And no one would care. That's what I think. And this is from somebody who grew up on GoldenEye. I love that game. But I already have access to the original Perfect Dark. It's a better game in every way. It's built on the same engine. You can play most of the same maps and most of the same weapons and most of the same characters. At this point, it's totally unnecessary. I don't know what I would get out of it.
I'm really curious what the community thinks about this conversation because I don't think we're changing Randy's mind, and you're definitely not going to change my mind.
You will not be changing my mind.
I think you're insane. So I'm curious where the rest of our community falls on this. Fence.
Let's rally the troops. Let's get GoldenEye remastered. Let's get it out on Xbox One. We'll see if it moves consoles. Yeah. Prove me right. It'd be an easy task. You get a few people on the job, no big deal.
I think it should be the Bronzearm, and it'll be a generic shooter featuring strange work and
Bronzearm.
Bronzearm. That's good.
Is that a Shovelware Empire production?
Anyway, all right.
It should be like the bronze monocle or something.
Hey, you know what? You know what I forgot to do? I totally teased it last week and said that I had a game mashup, and then I forgot to record it in my contest roundup. Whoops. Anyway, I'm gonna do it now. Okay, so we'll if you're not familiar with the games mashup, it is where I take two games and combine them with a common word, the end of one word and the beginning of another. So I'll go back to week 15, which I think was like episode, I don't even know what episode it was anymore. It's on the forums. So I'll give you the clue and then I'll give you the answer. So the clue was, this mashup features two literary figures combining their massive works into a horrifying tale of violence and intrigue. RL and RR spin an intricate point-and-click adventure filled with easy gamer score. So I had a bunch of correct answers on this one. It was Goosebumps, the Game of Thrones. So Goosebumps, the Game, and Game of Thrones. RL being R.L. Stine, RR, George R.R. Martin. Pretty simple, but that's the idea. So Goosebumps, the Game is one title. Game of Thrones is the other title. You combine those in the middle. So let's see if you can do week 16s. This week features a couple of frantic indie darlings meeting for a highly stylized arena battle and 3D hack and slash. There are tons of customizable options for these ninja robots. The game features a ninja with a lovely computer head stringing combos of cuts through a swath of mechanized minions. So if you guys know the answer to that, you can send me a private message on Discord, at Freamhole, FREAMWHOLE. And if you're not in our Discord, you should come visit. That's discord.io/Z2Z. We've got a decent chunk of community questions here and some things that Randy needs to touch on. So let's move into community feedback. Okay, so some listener feedback. We had a decent amount of new stuff to talk about. We have some old stuff to talk about. And so let's start with some of the new stuff. Darth Ryloth I got his name right that time, Proulx, sent us a picture on Twitter saying, hey, does this end the discussion? You remember seeing this?
It says basically, nana, Fream. I was right the whole time.
In your stupid face, dumb, yeah. It is a end cap. It says Toys to Life. I assume this is part of the going out of business Toys R Us sale. 10% off.
Peace.
Yep. And what is it? What is the Toys to Life wall filled with? Garbage amiibos.
Womp womp.
You know what? To support my point, the reason all you see is amiibos and not actual Toys to Life is because people are confused. They're not looking for Toys to Life. They're looking for amiibos.
Good try, Frame. But I still win.
They're looking in, computer, hard drives for these amiibos.
At Toys R Us.
At Toys R Us.
I don't think so. Sorry, Frame. You're just wrong. I won this one.
But is a Toys R Us really the authority on this?
It would have been.
That's why they went out of business, I think. They didn't get it right.
They've been debating this in court since Skylanders came out.
Yep, they didn't get it right.
Secretly.
You guys, God, there was so much talk about with the death of Toys R Us of like, you remember as a kid where you saw that whoever the kid was that won the sweepstakes and they got to just rip through with the shopping cart and just fill it with toys.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of those, before I realized how cool telekinetic powers would be, that was always my dream of like Toys R Us kid, man. If I could just be that dude, I would go. And in your head, you mapped out your plan. You're like, okay, I'm hitting Legos and I'm loading up my car with Legos, and then I'm going to video games, and because those are going to be easier to grab, I'm going to start pulling the video games, and then maybe I'll loop around and come this way. I think I might be able to drag a bike behind my shopping cart. And like. I mean, it was like I was casing the joint, thinking, maybe one day I'll get to do that. You guys ever do that?
And it's so funny now that we're talking about it. That's what they should put in the next GTA update, Randy. Is how would you steal from a Toys R Us sweepstakes giveaway? How exactly would you case?
That would be hilarious.
Sections you go into,
like a new little mini heist is Toys R Us. But there's no one there because it's out of business. There's also
I had the same experience that you did, Frame, where like. By the way, you made a rookie mistake. You always start with electronics because it's the highest value per volume that you're going to hit. So you fill your cart as much as you can with consoles and handhelds and games. There's nothing else that's going to hit that sort of value.
Yeah, no. This isn't supermarket sweep, dude. Like, I'm not trying to gain money to buy other things. Like, this is actually stuff I want to play with.
All right.
So, like...
You picked Legos over video games.
I was and they were in the front. They were in the front of the store. Well, that particular store. The other store, I would have done the loop the other way, and I would have hit electronics first. But put that off the side behind like a cage because they wanted to make sure no one could go in and out. Yeah, they did that at my
Toys R Us too. It was like right by the checkout.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like
and it was like a little mini like kind of door. There was like a checkout that kind of could go either way. And then you could like go in there so people, I guess, maybe couldn't like run out a store with I don't know.
Yeah. So like that layout,
I don't know why.
I was older by that time, so that layout of video games for sure. But when I was real little, Legos were right in the front left. You could hit Legos on your way back to the electronics in the back corner, and then come across to the other good stuff. Yeah, I'm not going after the turkeys and because I'm going for the weight and the dollar, the pounds, all that. That's no. Not supermarket sweep style. This is stuff I actually want.
So there was an interesting thing with Toys R Us going out of business. I mean, I think it's kind of sad that Toys R Us is going out of business, but some like acquisition company or something, or like insurance, I don't know, some gigantic company that I think they said they already intended on trying to buy Toys R Us, is doing a GoFundMe for $1 billion.
What?
And this money is
I
being
heard
donated,
about this. Yeah.
is being donated to this company. You don't get any equity. You just give them money so they can buy Toys R Us and then profit from buying Toys R Us. They raised $200 million last time I checked. $200 million of people giving to this company so that they can buy Toys R Us and maybe operate some stores that you can go and spend money at and they make money on. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Like, how did they raise $200 million? That's what I want to know. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's and like it's funny just to ask. Like it's some type of institution that like Toys R Us is too big to fail. Like we can't possibly go out of business.
Well, no, but it's not even Toys. It's not even the company that owns Toys R Us. It's some
random dude. You're right. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it's some random.
No, and it's not even like a random guy. Like it's a company that like acquires other companies as its business.
Sure.
So it's like, or something like that, or no, maybe it was like another giant toy company or something. I don't know. Not a small a company that should not be asking for $1 billion,
right?
So it can buy Toys R Us. It's like, it's one thing if you like give people equity when they give money to you, so you can buy Toys R Us or borrow money. Nope.
Yeah, it's
donate money, and it's like all over it. Like specifically on this thing, is like, this is a donation to us. You will not receive anything in return for it. All over this page. But I think if you give them $50,000, you get a block party or something in the GoFundMe reward. So I haven't checked that in like a couple of weeks or something. But I just thought that, since we were on the topic of Toys R Us, I thought that was very strange.
Yeah, right, for sure. Planting had a comment for us here. Anybody getting the Duke controller? Is that on your list? I know you guys had said you were. How close are you actually procuring one of these?
When is the official release?
Didn't it just come out, or is it next week? It's right around the corner.
I planned on pre-ordering it and I forgot. Let's see here. According to GameStop, it's coming out. Doesn't say. Yes, I am getting it, and I can't wait, and I'm never going to play with it.
April 30th,
I will buy one.
End of the month.
Oh, perfect.
It should come out on April 1st.
That would be good. That would be good.
Wah, wah. Yeah, it's funny.
I do want it real bad, and I am definitely getting one. So, yes, absolutely.
I mean, I would like to get one eventually, but I mean, I just don't have the like extra money to spend like $80 on a controller I'm never going to use.
It's only $70, Randy. Don't be such
like
a brain
Pizza Hut
clown.
controller that's super rare. So I would like one, but probably not right now. Is my answer.
Gotcha. Randy, Doughboy had asked last week that, and I'll repeat the question here. He said, I recently picked up my 6th copy of Madden 2005, each one for a different console. What is the game that you have the most copies of, either on the different console or the same console? After we gave lackluster responses, Doughboy said, hey, I should ask Randy, because that dude's got games upon imports and stacks and region variants. And It's like, what do you got?
So I said in Discord I was going to look this up and count my games, but I didn't have time.
Well, let me give you a second to think, because I also had this conversation.
I know which one I have the most
of.
I just don't know how many.
Oh, jeez.
So, I know my top 2 are, number 1 is Seen It Bright Lights Big Screen, because I think there are 6 regional variants, plus I've got duplicates of 2 or 3 of them. So I think I have somewhere between 7 and 10 copies of that one.
Jeez Louise.
I think I have 9.
So how many dupes do you think? 2? So
dupes,
that's 4?
I have 3 French at least, and 2 Canadian. I think those are the only dupes.
Okay.
So yeah, three copies of the French one, 2 copies of Canadian one, 1 copy of Spanish. I don't think I have the German one. I have the Italian one. So like 8 or 9 copies probably.
Yeah.
I might be missing one. I don't think I have the American one, which is the funny thing, is I have all these really obscure ones. I don't think I have the North American one. And then the second, I think, would be if you count the Undead Nightmare disc of Red Dead. I think I've got 7 or 8 copies of Red Dead.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I had a conversation last night with my PVZ crew, and we said, how did Proulx not mention Saints Row? Don't you have a crap ton of those?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I actually did completely forget, because I do... Well, how many is it, Randy? Do we... 4? 4?
Yep.
I think 4 versions.
Now that you mention it, I've got 2 copies of the... No, 3 copies. 3 copies of the North American Saints Row, 2 copies of the German one, 2 copies of the Japanese one. So put me up there at 7 copies of Saints Row plus a digital copy.
Getting up there.
Yeah, that's quite a few. Don't have as many Saints Row 2s. I'm just trying to think of the others. Kane and Lynch, I've got 5. So that wouldn't be 1. I seem to keep acquiring copies of Gears of War. I'm not really sure where they come from. I have a lot. Like I swear, every time I look, I've got more copies of it.
Just
I don't
kind
even
of
know where they
appear.
come from. Like I don't know if I just like buy them because they're $1 or something. I've probably got 5 or 6 of those. A lot of games I have 6 of. I've got 6 copies of Quake 4. Let me look at. I'm just gonna look through my list of games played, see if there's any I'm missing that maybe I have more of.
Gotcha.
Because I wasn't really factoring in the regional variants, which is a good point. Because if you multi-box in multiple regions, then that adds up real quick.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, where you don't. How many different versions of like Gra did you have?
Just 4. Yeah, that one and
4, no big deal.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm talking like 6 or 8 or 10 copies of a game, I mean, 4 is not that many. But most of the time, I actually only played off 1 copy because you can play 2 people on 1 box. You only need multiple copies if you're doing the global leaderboard.
Gotcha. Awesome. Proulx, did you have anything else that popped up while you had a week to think about it? Because I know you put some more time into thinking about it.
Well, I mean, I would argue my original point stands about Pokemon, but apparently it doesn't. So
no, it's totally fine.
No,
I mean,
no, that's fine. No, I get it. It's fine. No, man, I have multiple copies of like Knights of the Old Republic. I think I probably have 4 different versions of that game. Just some like random games like that where I've bought it on different platforms. But I can't compete with Randy. Like I don't have 8 different versions of any particular game that I can think of anyways.
Fantastic.
BioShock 2, I think I have somewhere between 6 and 8 of.
Oh, jeez.
Because I've got 4 North American copies, 1 on Xbox One, 1 Korean copy, 1 Japanese copy. So that's 7 of those. Still going down the list.
Is it a long list? How long?
I mean, this is like played games.
Yeah, but you do have a bunch of games that you don't play, right? Like,
yeah, but I don't usually. If I'm buying 8 copies of a game, I'm probably going to play it, except for Seen It. Seen It's more of a collecting thing because they're all in other languages that I don't know.
That would be tough to play.
But if like BioShock, I have 4 copies of BioShock because I boosted it. things like that. I'm just trying to think. I feel like there's got to be another one.
Yeah, for sure.
If I see something, I'll well, and then BioShock 2, I've also got the Russian PC version, physical copy, but that doesn't really count. I mean, it's kind of different.
Yeah. Great. Well, I think we should move on. Got a question here from Philip Wendell. You guys might need to think about this a little bit. I've been putting a list together while we've been talking. What game have you played that is the most compelling, most memorable storyline? Now, I've been, kind of going through my list and trying to figure out, okay, because they're like my favorite games, but are they my favorite because they have a great story? Or are they my favorite because the gameplay is awesome, or it's a combination of all this? And so I've narrowed down to 5, although one of these I don't think should count. But I think number 1 for me, with a bullet, and ironically it is because of the bullet that is, sticks with me for so long, is Walking Dead Season 1. I had never experienced anything like that. Storytelling in a video game, when Telltale first made its mark on my life, and to present a story that at the time I felt like I was creating, and I will never get that feeling back of the first time I played that game, and just getting so emotionally involved with those characters. That for me is the number 1. The one that I love the story, but it's not in the game. That's the problem, and it's not Destiny. No, it's
I was just gonna say
it's inside, right? Like the story is so well hidden, and it's not even confirmed that my theories are even close to being accurate. So like I don't feel like I can count that as most memorable story, because while it is incredibly memorable, I'm not sure that it's the story that's memorable. It's more of the wow moments, and the reason I like it so much is everything that happened afterwards, or how I rationalized what I had seen. Life is Strange, I'm going to put on my list, my top 5 here. I very much like that story. Braid, love the story in Braid, because it's not, the twist had me so like, oh yes, that's amazing. This is fantastic. Then the last 2, right? Because I'm taking Inside Out. So my top 5, I've got BioShock. I'm putting BioShock on my list, and Portal 2 I'm putting on my list. So those are my top 5 most compelling storylines. Again, Walking Dead Season 1, number 1 for me, with a bullet. What, Proulx, sounds like you got some games ready to go, or at least a game. What's on your list?
Well, you picked 2 of my top 3.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, Walking Dead and BioShock were definitely up there for me. Walking Dead, obviously, because of, it's just solid writing there. I mean, it's really good writing, and the storyline was really compelling with Clementine and Lee and all that stuff. It goes without saying, we've moved past that at this point. In the one that you kind of didn't mention that I will was Mass Effect.
Okay.
And I mean the original Mass Effect, which
the whole trilogy,
I know a lot of people,
or the first game.
I'm talking about the actual original game.
Okay.
I mean, we could argue Mass Effect versus Mass Effect 2 or 3, but I'm just saying Mass Effect. That first game sucked me in. It's actually one of the games that is responsible for me being an achievement hunter. Achievements justified my playing that game 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. God, I can't even remember how many times I replayed that game. And I used the achievements as a justification, but I just loved playing that game over and over and over and over again. So that's absolutely on just because I wanted to see what if I played with these characters in this situation, and what if I did this in this situation. And I love Mass Effect, so that's definitely my number one.
Gotcha. Nice. Awesome. Good list. What about you, Randy? Do you have you had some story? Do you even play games that have stories?
Yes, I play games that have stories.
Well,
I love games that have stories.
Good. So what are your most compelling ones?
Now, I know I'm going to overlook things that I played a long time ago.
Yeah, and I stuck with just Xbox, too. I can't even think of, like, did I ever play any memorable things on the GameCube?
Yeah, and I know I did. I know there are older games that I did play that were compelling because of the story. But, yeah, I'll go from more recent memory. Number one, no question, is Life is Strange.
Sold all your games.
I don't think exactly. But being serious about Life is Strange is I don't think I've ever had a game's story be that powerful in the way Life is Strange was.
Yeah.
Just every moment was so compelling that you just couldn't, you didn't want to walk away from it at any point.
Right.
Would you say it was hella compelling?
Yes, I would say that. So in terms of pure story like that, it's Life is Strange hands down, because it's on a whole nother level. Now, for games with more kind of gameplay, I'd have to go with BioShock Infinite.
Okay.
I would say the BioShock 1/Infinite storyline as a whole.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of, the reason Infinite was so powerful is because of BioShock 1.
Sure.
Which is also fantastic. Amazing story.
Now,
but they kind of go together.
Without Burial at Sea, would that still hold true? Or is it because of Burial at Sea that just nail in the coffin, this is amazing? Because I know you've talked about it a lot.
I'm just trying to think. I think Infinite was probably, if I had to pick one without Burial at Sea, I'd probably still go with Infinite.
Okay.
I think,
and I haven't played it yet, so
Infinite had me guessing for longer than BioShock 1 did. But yeah, when you tie BioShock 1,
interesting,
BioShock Infinite, and Burial at Sea,
I would have picked BioShock originally, but that's...
Now, the other thing too is, when I first started playing BioShock, I didn't do it all at once. So the initial hit may not have been as powerful for that reason. It was kind of a fragmented playthrough. So that also, and then obviously when you know what happens, you know what happens. It's not, you only get that once. Then probably Red Dead.
Good one.
Both a fantastic game, setting, story, and then the last one that comes to mind that I really enjoyed is kind of a less traditional sense of storytelling, but storytelling through a setting and environment and audio logs and things like that was actually Syndicate. I really, really enjoyed, and I wish there was more there. What was there was fantastic, but it would have been nice if there was more to explore and experience. But that was part of what really grabbed me with Syndicate, and then of course the great gameplay on top of it. I really want to play through that again. I've been craving Syndicate again. If maybe someone around at some point wants to play through Syndicate with me, or maybe I'll just I can't stream it though. I was gonna say maybe I'll try and finally do that, beat all of co-op by myself. But if I was gonna do that, I think I'd stream it, because I kind of want to record it all.
Yeah,
because I did beat the first level, so I don't know, it might be possible, but it's tough. It's pretty tough.
Gotcha.
But that's what came to mind.
Cool. Good answers. Let's see. This was a good question from Foo Cuddly Boof. He asks, what do you think are the neatest features that are added to games to make them better, but aren't completely necessary? And he gives a couple examples, like day-night cycles, horns in vehicles, or being able to see yourself in a mirror, for instance. Like they add to the, they're interesting. They maybe add to the realism or the immersion, or they add to the realism. I already said realism. They add, this level of complexity.
Oh, see now you've got me questioning my choices on the last question, because the seeing yourself in a mirror made me think of Dead Rising, because I love the original Dead Rising, and also as a continuation of story, the story of Dead Rising 3, which is, I would say, more the direct sequel to Dead Rising. But like that was the same thing. It was that immersion, that detail. Yeah. Like that game would have been bland and boring without all those unnecessary features.
I agree.
But that's what made it so spectacular, was that it felt like you were in a real place because of all the detail. And like that too, is like you could see yourself in the mirror.
It is remarkable how much I enjoy seeing myself in a mirror. Like the fact that they put that in there, and I would never even consider that.
And implemented it really well, like where it was an actual mirror image, where like sometimes there's a mirror where you're kind of just like a blob.
Yeah, right.
But it's like it looked like a mirror. And the mirror is a really good one, because like it's just that those little details really can make a game like Dead Rising go from like a decent game to something really spectacular, because you have that great setting.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm trying to think of other things that they're like, boy, these are like, I really appreciate that they put this in here, but there's not really a reason to do it.
I mean, I'd say it's like half of everything in GTA 5, like just details and stuff you can do. Like,
one of the things
there's so much.
Yeah, one of the things I always enjoy, and for the most part, it's dumb, but like, if you do it with one thing, you gotta kind of do it with everything, and it's to like just pick up everything, like Half-Life or Elder Scrolls or whatever, where it's like, here's a can of soup.
Yeah,
I can just pick it up. I can't. It's totally worthless, but I have soup. There it is. I'm gonna put it over here, and I got to pick up a bowl. I can pick up forks individually. I can pick up this crate and move it. Like yes, there are gameplay elements that require that, but like you didn't have to apply that to literally everything. Like you could just have said, "Oh yeah, this is something that you can move. This is a block you can move." The rest of this is all just window dressing. But no, that mouse set on the computer there, yeah, you can move that. For why? I don't know. There's no reason. Do it. Just can. I always think that's interesting. Character blinking. If your character blinks, or and this again not necessary, but I like when it hits. Is I don't know, the lips move in sync with the voice. Like that's super nice.
Yes, that is a good feature.
Well, what I was thinking was idle animation. You can go back
like
to
where Sonic taps his wrist.
I was going to say Sonic. Mm-hmm. Was that Sonic 1 or Sonic 2? I can't remember which one had the actual.
I think Sonic 1.
It could have been Sonic 1, yeah.
Where he gets annoyed and starts tapping his foot.
His tap. But that is something that's that can really add a tremendous amount to a game for a very, to us as gamers, a seemingly little cost. But that actually is, I'm sure, obviously for the people who are developing the game is actually, quite extensive. But
especially back then too, when you had very limited cartridge space.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You have that animation. That's like a whole nother character set of sprites that you have to put on that cartridge.
But even nowadays, when space is cheap, a good idle animation or a good sort of idle transition is interesting and can provide a lot of character and flavor to a game that you wouldn't get in any other context. So I can't think of a specifically good one, but that's where my mind goes immediately. Is like, oh man, like if you just sit there for a while,
Epic
like
Mickey or not Epic Mickey, Mickey's Castle of Illusion, that remaster. He had a really intricate idle animation where like he would kind of dance a little bit and he would like look around and like should like think that there's like bad guys around him and stuff. Like it was long.
Hey, if we're gonna loop back to the beginning of our conversation, remember ToeJam and Earl will fall asleep if you do not.
Oh, and then you have to hit the button to wake them up.
You do. You have to hit the button to wake them up.
We did that, and we couldn't figure out how to wake them up. It was so annoying. I think we ate something and they fell asleep. And you have to jiggle the D-pad or something.
And there's somebody who yells in the background.
Because we're like, what do you like? We were just gonna restart the game.
That's funny.
Like, because it was like right away.
The other thing in ToeJam and Earl that I appreciate is like when you meet up and your screens merge, and they're like, "Yo, ToeJam, what's up? Hey, Earl," and they like talk to each other.
Hey, Earl, what's going on? Yeah,
they high five too, don't they?
You actually exchange health when they high five.
You balance your health out.
Oh,
right. So you share health, so you're both at the same amount. Yep. One that I thought of in relation to the ToeJam and Earl thing with the co-op is like on Manual Samuel, where if you skip a cutscene, they have a separate set of dialogue for that. Like they acknowledge that you have skipped that, and they make a joke at your expense for doing that. Totally unnecessary. It's hilarious. Like I think that was a brilliant move to do that. So
no, I got one more. This is gonna be a real crazy one. Achievements.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
You broke the meta.
Yeah, because they are definitely not necessary.
Nope. What, you play games for fun? That's stupid.
No, I used to play games for fun, and achievements came along, so no more of that.
Yeah, that's gone. Awesome. Well, so that's great. What a great way to end the community feedback section. Thank you for everybody who sent in a question or comment. We really appreciate that. Just a few more things we want to touch up here. Do you got any knobs and discos? Anything you want to touch here? We had Sea of Thieves is back. So that's good.
Yeah, so Sea of Thieves went and came back. Let's see. Let's start the list here. There's a big list. So I got that going for me achievement in Minecraft on Kindle Fire, and I think Gear VR was fixed. So I'm not sure how long that was broken, if it was ever obtainable, but that's been fixed, which is good. There are some servers closing that in a bunch of games. This is a big one that will probably affect some people. So you can probably still get some stuff out of these, but not really sure how stable they are. Alpha Jacks for Windows Phone and Windows 8, the servers will be closing, and all of the Wordament Snap Attack servers will be closing. All of those servers for both games closing on the 18th of May, 2018. So not very long. I wouldn't recommend starting. Alpha Jacks is pretty quick, I think, if you've got multiple devices. Snap Attack is not. Snap Attack is like a 150-hour game. So do not recommend starting Snap Attack if you have already started it. I'd try and finish it maybe if you want to complete it, because it's long. So at least there's some notice, I guess. That's kind of a big one. Let's see, Thrown Together for Windows 8 and Windows Phone, the Helping Hand achievement is discontinued. That was for, I think, sharing something with friends. So one of those achievements that's kind of expected. Sean White Skateboarding, the Absolute Truth achievement was discontinued. Oh, a bunch of achievements discontinued, sorry. Looks like all of the multiplayer achievements for that one are now discontinued. And the World's Win, Own, Reinvent, Live, Discover Sim for Windows 10 got 2 more unobtainable achievements. I think that's up to 4 now. Oh, just 2. So they just got flagged. That one that's that weird one. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. It came in with like 1,014 gamer score or something. Base game, no DLC. Super weird, and it's got like 100 achievements or something. Yeah, 1,048 gamer score with 100 achievements. So that's now it looks like somebody's completed the game.
Like recently?
So, yeah, it looks like it yesterday. So maybe they fixed it.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Wow, that's actually really surprising because I thought this game would not get any fixes at all. Yeah, there they are. One person is marked rare, so somebody must have got it. Rad Rogers has 2 unobtainable achievements: the Golden Jungle Part Wheat and the Hat Collector, both unobtainable. These are also last week's Knobs and Discos too, so it's a very long list. Paladin's got a discontinued achievement for Citizen of the Realm. So after it got, I guess this must have come along with that update, making it easier. They get a daily reward 7 days in a row is discontinued. Not sure why. Maybe they removed daily rewards or something. Battlestar Galactica Deathlock, the Endeavor/Evolution achievement, is unobtainable. A lot of unobtainables. It's not a good week. 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's tough.
Metal Gear Survive has 2 unobtainables, and then 1 was fixed. So there's just 1 unobtainable left. NBA 2K14 had like a timed event thing discontinued. And this is kind of a big deal because I think it might be the only app left that has achievements that work, but the True Achievements app had its 3 achievements
swapped.
Swapped, yeah. So I'm not sure how they managed to pull that off, but that's kind of cool. So yeah, you can complete True Achievements again if you didn't already have those achievements.
Yeah. Great.
And then there are 2 more. The Western Press got the Spit the Dummy achievement. It's unobtainable. And Beast Quest has 2 unobtainable achievements. Of course, 1 for completing all the achievements. Oh, I guess the other one's for completing all the side quests. So I guess those kind of go hand in hand.
Oh, right.
So that is it for this very long-winded Knobs and Discos.
I just saw a tweet from, I think it was NBA Kirkland, where a game just got delisted. That was pulled from you can't get it on the Microsoft Store anymore. Crap, what was it? It was a game Call of Juarez Gunslinger.
Huh.
So he just tweeted it literally right when we were recording the show. So that might be gone, which is a bummer.
Interesting.
I don't know any impact on achievements for that, but certainly not getting anything new.
I think that one had some services discontinued at some point, but I think it all still works.
Yeah, I think so too, because that's like a single player thing, right?
No, I think this one was a multiplayer, actually.
The Gunslinger?
I think this is the Is this the XBLA?
Yeah,
one?
the one where like you're the guy who keeps telling all the stories.
I didn't play it.
Okay.
I just remember reading it. Oh, I don't know.
I thought it was a single player thing.
Oh yeah, it's all offline. So
yeah, so
doesn't matter.
But you can't get it anymore. And that game was fun. That game is it's pretty funny. Like depending on how well you did in his stories, he's like, no, wait, no, that's not how it happened. You know, this is what happened, and yeah, it gets crazier and crazier. Anyway, I got some zombie news. Remember that Dying Light? Which, geez, is that like 3 years old now? Well, they're still adding to it. Dying Light is now getting another update. It's called Prison Heist, a prison heist mode, and it takes place on Prison Island. It's this fortress. And the game mode is where you have to break into the armory as fast as you can, either by yourself or with friends. And then you have to loot the place, and then the alarm goes off and it gets overrun. And so you have to get out. It sounds very much like Payday, in Zombie World. So I cannot believe how like this has been supported for so long. It just blows my mind. But this is apparently also there is going to be inside there. There's going to be a zombified Easter bunny that you're going to have to you can keep an eye out for. So with Easter right around the corner, be careful. But anyway, I thought there has to be a sequel coming out for this at some point, right?
I don't know, with the way games are now.
Just keep adding to it, like
guess it depends on how many microtransactions.
You can buy this game for like $15. Like Dying Light: The Following is probably
are all the updates free.
Well, if you buy The Following, that's the complete edition, and I think that's down to like $20-$30. But yeah, all the updates have been free. It's been wild. So great, get your zombie action. There's one other thing that I wanted to mention here, because you can take, if you yourself were a popular streamer, you could have significantly more progress in your Sea of Thieves achievements. But this is from Game Informer, where a streamer has hit the highest rank in Sea of Thieves, the Pirate Legend rank. It's Prodigy X is the dude's name. And the way to get Pirate Legend, and there might be an achievement for this or not, but you have to hit level 50 in all 3 of the factions. And then after you hit level 50, apparently there's some sort of quest or something that you have to do, one final quest, and then you get the title Pirate Legend, and you can equip that. So the Game Informer says he's played a lot. He's been streaming it since release. He said one stream of his was 18 hours. So, like, significant. But then, as you kind of saw, it became clear that maybe he wasn't doing all of the work himself. So, I'll read from the article here. Fans of his streams would give him gold, resources he could simply turn around and use for himself. And then while he was doing other quests, people grouped together, completed quests, and had him join right before they turned it in. So he would get credit for quests he wasn't even doing.
Oh, yeah. Boo.
So you could, in theory, crowdsource this. Maybe our community could do this down the road, where everybody's kind of working for quests and they climb somebody. I don't know. You're better off just doing it by yourself and getting there. But anyway, so for some reason, his community wanted to help him be the first one in the world to reach Pirate Legend, and people are pissed. There is apparently a hashtag going around, hashtag not my Pirate Legend going around, where people are saying, yeah, screw this guy. Like, we're playing for real. And this guy, one of his, of course, the comments in Reddit are fantastic. One of them says, he does almost nothing while playing. He stops every 5 seconds to look at his chat while his crew is running around doing everything for him. He can't aim. He's a noob with the sword. He has no idea where to go and what to do, and just seems confused half the time. You can totally tell he got boosted almost all the way. And then someone else said, if Rare, obviously the game company Rare, if Rare makes a legit shrine for him in the game, I will go out of my way to deface it in every lobby. Anyway, there you go, guys. I wonder if his achievements are all, now that they're unlocking, if he has the completion. So Prodigy X, that's pretty annoying that you could do that. But if you had some really, really clever friends, or some people who didn't care, they just wanted to play the game, and you could meet up with them, you could boost. So with that, I think that does it for the show, guys. One other announcement thing we had talked about. Of course, Sea of Thieves is the April game of the month, and you can take part with us throughout the month playing. But we have also started talking about what we're going to do for May. And so if you are in our Discord chat right now, you can head over to discord.io/ZZ, and there's a pinned message in the Game of the Month thread, not the individual like monthly one, right? There's the March Manuel Samuel, there's the April Sea of Thieves. In the generic Game of the Month thread, there's a pinned item there. It's a spreadsheet that I'm asking people to go into and put in game suggestions that you'd be interested in nominating for the game of the month. So you type in the name of the game, your name as a suggester, and maybe a reason why it would be good, or maybe some things to hold it back. And then you can also, while you're there, lend your support to other games, or say, absolutely not, I will not be playing that, and put your initials down on that. And that'll give the community idea of games that maybe we can look at using for the game of the month. So, for instance, right now, A Way Out it was nominated by Fufu Cuddly Poof, and there is a ton of community support for having that as one of the games of the month. One of the notes here, though, is maybe it's a little too expensive for game of the month at this moment, but if a price drop hits, then yeah, we can get that on the list. Another one that is remarkably popular and is on sale for the next 2 weeks as part of the spring sale, Little Nightmares. That was nominated by Chindocta and has a ton of community support behind it. And so, just looking at these lists, we'll probably take a few of these, maybe take a suggestion from one of our patrons and maybe a suggestion from a staff member, and put those in and say, hey, all right, of these 4 games, what do you guys want to play in the month of May? So just head over to Discord, let us know your opinion, add to this list. Let's get this thing going. This is going to stay alive for kind of just as a while, and as things kind of percolate, we'll just kind of tick things off this list. So I highly recommend you guys do that. Come visit us on Discord anyway, man. It's great. It's super fun. And it really helps us get some quality boosting done, and certainly you get some wonderful friendships out of it. So with that, that's going to do it for this show. Like I said, you can come help us out if you can at all, financially, if you have the means or you care, or we love it. We super appreciate it. You can head over to Patreon, patreon.com/Z2Z. That's all one word, ZEDTOZED. Enters in any donation that you guys make to the show will get you entered into a prize giveaway for a game. We give everything we earn back into the show in new equipment, contest prizes, things like that. And so we are constantly trying to make this as best as we can. So we appreciate that. If you that's too much of an ask and you just want to help us in a free way, spread the word. Tell a friend. Send it to a friend. Let them know how much you like the show and you enjoy it, and or you can give us a rating or review, on iTunes or wherever you end up listening to it. If you need to talk to us, boy, there's tons of ways. One of them is Twitter @Z2ZZEDTOZED. We do have an email address, contact@Z2Z.com. Discord, I've already mentioned a bunch of times, and our forums, forum.Z2Z.com. You can also, at the forums, find all of our awesome contests, which I will talk about here after the Reviews Ed segment. And then finally, you can head over to our website, Z2Z.com. Just that by itself, that's where the show resides and the show notes lie. And so you can find show notes and credits, things, links, pictures, and anything that we put over there. That would be the place to go. Proulx, where can people reach you in particular if they're so inclined?
If they want to find me, they can find me on Twitter @OneUpDan. That's the number 1, not the word.
Wonderful. And Randy, if you have any inclination as to people wanting to find you, maybe give them something they can track down.
Yep. Twitter is @Randy2727 or TrueAchievements&nbsp.
Delightful. And if you're interested in being a part of, my Sea of Thieves crew, it'd probably best to follow me on Xbox so I can invite you onto my boat. That gamertag Freamhole, FREAMWHOLE. You can also hit me up on Twitter using the same gamertag there @Freamhole. Pretty much everywhere. You can't go wrong. So I can't wait. I cannot wait till this upcoming Sunday. If you missed the live airing of it, head over to our youtube.com/Z2Z. That's another place we have content. There's a Game of the Month folder, and I put all my streams in there. Proulx, if he does any, will go in, anybody. So if you've got some fun streams that, contribute to the game of the month, let's bolster our YouTube page. That would be wonderful. We look forward to it. But in beyond all that, we're going to wrap this show up. We've got Reviews Ed coming up, What the L coming up, Contest Roundup coming up. It's wonderful. We appreciate anyone who sticks around and listens. But on behalf of Randy and Proulx, I've been Brandon. And to all of you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening. I will catch you next episode.
Z to Z Podcast presents Review Z.
Oh, well. Good thing for touch. Hey, and welcome back to another weekly installment of Review Z. You got your co-host here, Spazpole, Damien, whatever you want to call me, and I got my co-host Warren. Planning for
howdy.
Hey, so I think we've been known to now make this the G task segment of the Review Z podcast. So it feels even though it snowed today, we're on Wednesday, right? Are we in the future?
Well, for this moment, yes, we're in the future.
Okay. But speaking of which, did it get snowed?
Yes, it snowed.
Ugh. All right. But so few hours from now, I think it's going to be, is it a team week or is it solo side?
It is a team week coming up. Ooh. We're just polishing off the bonus for having the solo side double their ratio.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, for me, I need like a 5 point something, and having played this Review Z game this week, not happening.
I, on the other hand, playing the Review Z game for the week, have not been able to look everything over. Maybe, and I did get some. Actually, I think my highest.
That's probably actually worth mentioning when we get into the review.
We probably will, but I think I'm at the two ratio this week. So much for that one. Oh wait, I'm knocked out of the solo side. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. You can no stress.
Oh, all right. So what do we have?
But this week, we have a team bonus. This team bonus is called Cup O' Joe. This bonus requires both team members to end the period having unlocked at least 2 achievements flagged time consuming. And since it's a scanned bonus, make sure that it's time-stamped in period 13, because otherwise we won't be able to know that you did it. So that's it. Get yourself 2 coffee cups and make sure your partner has 2 coffee cups, and you got a bonus coming your way.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing that at PAX.
No, probably not.
Maybe if there's one that is the great wait in line game achievement, we can unlock that.
Maybe there's something grindy I can do while walking in line. I'll check Windows Phone games.
Yeah, but what about the game for this week? What do we have? I can't.
Well, this week we played One-Eyed Kutkh.
Is it Kutkh? Is that what it?
That's what I'm calling it. I have. I've seen so many people like stumble over that word. I don't know what it is. I'm calling it Kutkh.
Yes. So published by Sometimes You, or with the lack of good cursive, Sometimes You. But seriously, it's a cursive L. But either way, Sometimes You. Developer is Baba Yaga Games. And this
Sometimes you might remember those guys from some gems like Energy Cycle and North.
Gems.
Gamerscore gems. Okay. Sorry.
This could potentially be up there. This was released on March 9th of this year with a whopping Xbox Live Store price of $4.99. I was going to say $4.95. And let's see, we have. Okay, I guess this is when I no longer do my role in GI adventure. Huh? I don't get that genre. Okay, point and click. I'll give a point and click, but adventure.
Well, it's a point and click adventure. They took the 2 genres and split them now that we're all a multi-genre world.
Oh my god. It's a low bar for adventure. That's for sure.
Well, if you think about it, there's 2 adventures in this game.
What, finishing it and getting 1,000 G?
Well, I was thinking the Kutkh adventure and the I don't want to talk about them because I don't want to reveal like the only major plot in the game. People.
Well, with the play estimate of 1 hour, it's going to be kind of hard. And we can talk about the first maybe about 10 minutes if you had. So here, I'll turn over to you to kind of explain the plot.
All right. Well, basically, you're an alien. I don't know if your name is Kutkh or if you are a Kutkh, like it's your race. I really couldn't say, but apparently you have one eye, and this is very true.
And you're pink.
In any case, and you're pink, very pink. In other case, yeah, you seem to have lost control of your ship. You're flying through space, randomly pushing buttons or intentionally pushing the same one. And eventually you crash on a planetoid, which is not much bigger than the ship you're flying. And your ship doesn't work because apparently a gear fell out. Your ship runs on gears? So he finds
I like how the gears just pop out. It's like 4 gears. That's all space interplanetary space travel requires is 4 mechanical gears.
Exactly. And we've been going about this with rockets and thrusters all this time. Ugh, we're doing it wrong.
Come on, Elon. All you needed was some gears.
Well, apparently so does Kutkh, you see. Because after looking around when he crashes, he can only find 3 of these 4 gears. So begin quest. Because under his ship is a cave.
Yeah, or labyrinth, whatever you want to. Okay.
With like 4 endings that literally. But yeah, again, we have exploration. So yes, basically that's the beginning of the story. And if I go much further, I'll tell the other 30 minutes.
Yeah, you've already just killed half the game for like spoiler alert. That was so for those. Yeah, coming in, the thing that drove me nuts with this was as simplistic as the game is, there was no explanation, and I would say it almost was. I read somewhere they're like going, "This is a children's game." But I swear I would be very hard-pressed to find any child that would be, oh, I want to play this, Dad or Mom. Like, no, I don't see how a kid is going to find any interest in this.
I can almost actually believe that it's supposed to be a children's game because it really feels to me like they're trying to teach you to be nice and share and be friendly with everybody because that's pretty much like the underlying plot that you'll discover as you go through the game exploring.
Yeah, but with lack of, there's no text, there's no explanation. It uses cave art to kind of explain, here's a picture of something. This means, like, even to the point of like going back and talking about level select. Unless you knew going in that, hey, after I hit this, if I start clicking the arrows to the left and right, okay, I somehow remember this scene. Oh, this is level select. That would have been nice to maybe just write the text in the bottom. Level select. Is it that hard to
Which is probably why so many of the video walkthroughs tell you can't go back to any scene and tell you to do it all correctly. I hate to tell you, but they're all wrong. This is good news, actually. Yeah. There is a level select, and it seems like it's accessible from the main menu or the pause screen. You click the little gear icon. Yes, gears, because that's what we're looking for, right?
The gears of war?
No. The gears of ship.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so you click the gear, and the first thing that you see is like a little bit of a scene. That scene is actually the beginning of the scene for where you're currently at. And clicking left or right on that will take you to scenes that you've unlocked. And then clicking again on it will bring you to that scene. This is really great if you do miss an achievement, because do you want to get into those?
Yeah, let's see. So for one, Kutkh, it's 10 achievements. And 8 of them are missable, technically? Well,
correct.
So this is interesting. And if somebody finds out otherwise, let us know. But if you are either the person that owns the game, like the license is on your tag, or you are playing on the home console of said account, you can unlock the achievements. However, if you own this game and you went over to your friend's house and logged in so they could play it, doesn't unlock achievements for your friend. It's an hour of their life they're not getting back.
So I think 8 are missable, correct?
Correct. 8 are missable.
So, yeah, but as we were just alluding to, those 8, you don't have to play through the entire game again. If you know whereabouts in the story that you missed what it was that was supposed to be done, you can go to level select and get it. And unfortunately, to kind of explain the achievements would go into a little bit of the spoiler of what we don't want to kind of spoil for anybody that actually wanted to play this game for the story. But I don't think anything was really that challenging.
Nothing challenging, and like literally, even if you're using a video, so you're watching the video and then going and doing it, and then watching the video and going and doing it, you'll finish it under an hour.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad. Like honestly, I would say give it a playthrough. See if you can understand what they're going for, and then use that scene select to go back to grab the couple that you need if you miss anything.
Yeah. So, want to talk about the gameplay?
Yeah, all right. Well, in One-Eyed Kutkh, it's pretty simple. I mean, it almost feels like it's cardboard cutouts you're moving. Occasionally, it's top down when you're in the cave, and the rest of the time, it's like a side scrolling. You can either control the side scrolling using a control that, like a cursor that's on the screen. You move the cursor around and click on the left, the right arrow, or the little interaction. Or if you're lazier or just stumble upon it like I did randomly, you can use the D-pad for left, right, and either up or down will do the middle option. Saves a lot of random clicking on the screen. No camera to control. Everything is just kind of on its own. I had no issues or glitches. It was straightforward gameplay. It was just very simplistic gameplay. All
right. So, yeah, I think that covers it.
It was a pretty simplistic gameplay. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. Graphics wise,
I thought it wasn't bad. It seemed very hand-drawn, very simplistic though, but wasn't horrible, seemed clean. It just wasn't a lot to it.
No, and I guess it does kind of go along with what you were saying, how it does feel almost like it was like a children's game, or it was made for a younger audience, perhaps. I will say it does kind of have a really cool blue color scheme. Not cool in the sense of wow, but cool in the sense of like not warm, like a dark kind of color scheme.
Yeah.
I don't know, but at least everything you interact with is very distinct. It's not like it's a blob. Oh, it's another blob. I mean, everything does look like a different object. It's just there's not a whole lot to do is I guess the problem.
Yeah. So so I guess in closing, and it kind of ties to me for the verdict. So for One-Eyed Kutkh, for $5 and 1,000 G, if you at our age, you're buying this game for achievements, and $5 for 1,000 G in under an hour. It's a good G-task save. Again, not a horrible game, but for $5, it's not very memorable either. It's better than Energy Cycle.
Yes. However, that's also another game that you would really only play for achievements.
Yeah. So, if you want to spend $5 because you need 1,000 G, go for it. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence for this one. Can't really recommend it beyond just easy achievements.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. For the Gamerscore value, if you're willing to drop $5 on it, which I'm sure we've all done more than once, there's always those easy games we'll just be willing to spend points on. But yeah, if you got them to blow, this is one to do it on because it's really quick.
Yeah. Cool. Well, until next week from PAX, which might not be us, we'll turn it back. Have a good week, Warren.
You as well, man. Peace.
Peace.
This dead air brought to you by Brielle crying in the background.
Hey guys, it's time for another community roundup. We cruising along in the GTASC. We are through period 11. Wraps up the month of March here. We're also just getting into April as this podcast airs, so we've got new contests to talk about. I announced them last week, but I'll reiterate them again here. Let's start with the GTASC 2018, the Great True Achievement Score Challenge. Well, of course, we've got from the team side, our top Zed this week was Squid Kids, the team of Weasel Pizza and Brutal Guitar. They were 13th overall. Our near miss, the Gorilla Pimps, Stishnikin and B. Smittle were 4 places over elimination, about 40 TA. And we did have a team get eliminated, the Sigmund Fuds, the team of Infernal Roadkill and Corner Scout. They were just at the near miss team once before, and now they are gone skis. As far as individuals go, our top Zed for period 11 was Ghost World. I just saw he made a push to 400,000 this last week here. So congratulations on that one. Got 11th overall. Was seemingly excited to get to that milestone. Our near miss Cherry Coat Kid, 23, 11 places over elimination, about 50 TA worth. And then a whole bunch of eliminated players. We had Interceptor 2, Guitar Stew, Guy DeRay, Kingsman 2625, Salzbar, Saucy Singlo, Enigma Gamer, and Eridor. Salzbar eliminated having being near miss 3 times. So, that reign of terror is over. But he's got top billing now for most near misses, hanging out near the bottom. Random to-do list, guys, probably our most popular contest. Super fun. It's a randomized list of 25 achievements from your games collection every month. And we are in the final month of our trimester, right? 4 months at a time. So we got April here. You get your 25 and go nuts, going for those full combos. Of course, if you listen to the show, you also hear the What the L segment that talks about the random to-do list and all the fun shenanigans that happen therein. So if you are looking for a list, you want to get in, just go to our forums, forum.z2z.com. All you need to do is let us know, and we'll throw you on the list. We'll get you a collection of achievements to work on, and you'll be added to the scanners. So it could not be easier. Super fun. Yeah, great times. Our community challenge just wrapped up for March. So March was spin-offs. Those are games that are not part of the main series. So check the list in the forums about what is acceptable. Make sure you post in there if you want to get in on any of the prizes, the prize draws, because if I don't know what you worked on, I'm not looking it up. In April, well, it's Tom Clancy's birthday. So we have got happy birthday, Tom Clancy, and we're playing Tom Clancy games is the goal here. You get 1 entry per achievement unlocked in a Tom Clancy game. You get 5 entries if you have previously completed one of those games, and 10 entries if you earn a completion this month. For Gamertag Challenge for March, Rocker Dude 5012, 10 letters, 4 numbers. You just finish that up. Let us know in the forums any a game that starts with that letter. Let us know, and it's super helpful if you tell us who to use subs, so I can seek those out and I don't get confused. But let us know in the forums. We'll add you to the list. As far as April, well, we got 2 gamer tags. Each one is worth 10 entries if you manage to complete them. We have Kronos, which is spelled Xpovos, and then we've got Cowboy Killer. Cowboy Killer 360 to be exact. So he's got 11 letters in his name. 11, that's 12. 12 letters, 3 numbers, and Kronos is 6 letters. So there you have it. Game of the month. I mentioned it on the main show here. Sea of Thieves will be the game of the month. If you're interested in watching my streams, I stream every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Central Time. And with Sea of Thieves, I'm looking for a crew. I played a little bit today. Way more fun with people, I'm sure. So if you're interested in getting onto that stream and partying with me, that would be fantastic. We look forward to it. There's also been some chatter in the Discord channel about the May voting. I've added some some things to that to make it, we can get a community feel for what we want to work on in the next month. And so we'll have a vote coming up here real soon. Then the final couple things, Patreon. We have a Patreon giveaway every month, the full game edition. So we take a random draw from all of our patrons and award them with a retail Xbox game of their choice. I guess technically you could ask for a PlayStation game. I mean, that you can spend your money however you want. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And then our Discord session. We've got our Discord rooms. You can find us discord.io/Z2Z. It's so much fun over there. A lot of conversations, a lot of interesting things. And what you can find there is our Garden Warfare, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare that we work on Thursday nights. Our Battleborn, we work on Wednesday nights. Happy Wars is going on right now, and with the start of the month, I'm sure our LFG is going to be busy looking for some things to do. So if you're interested, you got some things you want to work on, let us know in Discord. And if you just want to hang out and chat, that's awesome too. That is awesome too. So with that, guys, I think that's the end of the contest roundup here for me. And so... thanks again for listening. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys later.
What the L with the RTDL?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to What the L with the RTDL. I, as always, am Big L.
And I am ElroyOMJ.
Oh,
no,
OMG?
Not really. Yeah, no. Apparently, I got a name change. I guess the show notes is trying to give me some kind of new nickname or something. I'm not really sure what was going on with it, but yeah, that was supposed to be a Yeah, what? Oh, what?
We were in the show notes?
Show notes? Oh, wow. Yeah, we're big time now. Yeah, we...
what episode number is this? Like
20
3 or
weeks.
4, right? What, 20? Yeah. Whoa.
20 weeks, yeah. Yeah, so in the course of 140 days, we finally earned our spot in the show notes. We worked hard. We were here every week. Every week.
That's all that matters.
Did you take any weeks off?
I didn't take any weeks off. Did you take any weeks off?
No, me neither. Okay, so...
It's okay.
Yeah,
who cares that they got your name wrong and got my name wrong? It's okay. We're in the show notes.
So, but yes, thank you to all the suits in Minnesota for getting us in the show notes and making that happen for us. It means a lot to me that my name was partially correct in the show notes. Thank you.
And of course, thank you to all of our wonderful listeners that presumably hear us at the end of each podcast. Thank you all.
Yeah, I mean, now that we're in the show notes, I mean, you've been getting a ton of fan mail, I assume, right?
Oh, absolutely. I write myself all the time. I mean, I get lots of fan mail. So what have you been playing, Elroy?
Oh, man, well, you got the new list. You got the RTDL list, and oh, my goodness. So I thought I had everything. I went through my list the night before, RTDL Eve. You got to spend your time on your game collection, kind of taking a little look to see what might be lurking in the shadows, and I overlooked Marvel Lego Superheroes. I swear I clicked not for contest on that stupid game, and now I paid the price. The RTDL gods have punished me. It is on my list 3 times.
Were you trying to curate? Can't have that.
Well, I had a special request. Nacho told me to take it off the list. He was tired of playing it, and so I was supposed to take it out, and I had to face Nacho in the Student Achievement Factory and tell him, I'm so sorry. It's back, and it's on there 3 freaking times.
Wow.
I don't know. It was a tough conversation.
Did you play it yet?
Who, me? No. I ain't playing that game.
Well,
yeah. What about you? What have you been playing?
I guess since we're not in the top 5 this week, we have to talk about what we played here, right? Oh, yes. Well, as part of the G task, I had to get 3.0 ratio because I had a 1.5 last week. So I started at the bottom of the list, and I got some crazy high ratio stuff that was high ratio for no reason, such as Black Belt in Killer Instinct and Big Spender in Worms Battlegrounds that have high ratios because the games were free, and that's basically why they have high ratios. They're all very easy to do, and so I did them. And
on that. That's
did you write a script this week, Elroy?
I did. So,
wait a minute. Did you switch to carrots?
Well, you were talking for so long there that I got hungry. But,
did you fall asleep? I'm sorry.
That's the. All right. Well, let's just jump in. So here we go. April is upon us, and the RTDL is abuzz with the newness and freshness of spring and the fluffiness of Easter bunnies. You got that in your mind now? It is with sadness and a heavy heart, especially after painting such a picturesque scene, that I have to announce that this will be the last What the L.
Wait, what?
Well, after much thought, I think it's kind of ran its course, and in the end, I think we should go out on top. We're currently getting inundated with all the fan mail, especially now that we're in the show notes. But like all great things, it's better to go out with the people wanting more.
Wow, well, it's news to me, but I guess makes sense. It's been a pleasure. I didn't want to say anything, but I was getting tired of carrying you, but I understand that,
April Fools! Oh, man. You should have saw your face, El. Priceless. Woo! Yeah. Wait. What was that last thing you were saying?
You got me good. Don't you have an update or something?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, new lists, new month. No Galaga for Fug's sake, and mine. It is the final month before the RTDL gets reworked and probably ruined in the process. So let's all sit back and enjoy the old days of good old-fashioned Chivo hunters. Getting good old Chivos. We have two mortals still in the hunt for the elusive yet graspable Ultra Combo. Yo, Kingsman and Kirkland both battling it out to be the first to raise the trophy that Fream said he would send. The first to get it. That's really nice of him. Spoiler alert. It may or may not look like the trophy Elle and I got for dominating the RTDO last trimester.
Thanks, Fream. Really ties the room together.
Speaking of the Man of the King, let's jump right into our way too early leaderboard after only a couple of days. There have been a lot of great starts out there and a lot of ugly lists.
Oh, yeah, like yo mama so ugly she made an onion cry.
It is your RTDL update, Easter Bunny Edition. In first place, it is no other than the Man of the King, 2,625. He is on the precipice of an Ultra and has wasted no time popping over half of his list. Even though there are his lower ratio achievements. But, they're still pops. Among his haul are a couple of Easter Bunny-themed achievements, including a Romancer from Viva Pinata.
Boing.
And Omnivorous from Slime Rancher, although I'm really not sure what that has to do with rabbits, now that I think about it. I mean, with Romancer, you think of, bunnies always at some stage of making other little bunnies, but Omnivorous, I'm not sure I really see that.
Well, maybe not just any rabbit, but the achievement Kingsman got was no ordinary rabbit. That's the most foul, cruel, and bad-tempered rodent you ever set eyes on. Look, That rabbit's got a vicious streak a mile wide. It's a killer. He's got huge, sharp. He can leap about. Look at the bones.
Oh, dang. Well, I don't think Kingsman better not risk another frontal assault. That rabbit's dynamite. In second place with 5 fewer achievements. Yet, only 25 points off the pace of Kingsman is Toad-Style Venom. Without a doubt, the Easter Bunny gnawed on a copy of Master Chief Collection before visiting Toad's house because he crapped a master load of achievements for that game on his list. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 8 freaking Chivos on his list from that game, and he has popped a handful, but none more important than his achievement he got in Halo 3 for listening to the story of the final grunt and popping, wait for it, cool story, bro. So congrats to Bro-Style Venom, and have fun shooting things this month with all those Halo achievements. Tell them, say hello to my little friend.
Oh, yes, that's a nice reference to Al Pacino, bro.
In third place is Wakaki and Peel, who is putting together impressive back-to-back months and has already had 7 pops this month. We here at What the L appreciate his Wakazil in going after his list and hope the Waka Thrill will keep him coming back for months to come, even after the RTDL format is probably run next month. Oh, Waka spent his Easter weekend in the confessional booth, however, much in thanks to his Cuphead achievement of Swing You Sinner. This swinging Waka Jezebel is all about sharing, and sharing is caring. So if you are interested in acquiring a game sharing partner, he may be your guy, even if he is a sinner.
Sinner? Didn't even know her.
In fourth place, we have Shabubble with 7 pops of his own, worth almost 2,000 points.
You forgot.
Including one. Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. You miss it, huh? Oh, there you go. I'll give you another one. Including one from Dead Island Definitive Edition for Knock Knock.
Who's there?
A little lady.
A little lady who?
I didn't know you could yodel.
Oh.
Also in Shabubble and Weaving stashes the Halo Master Chief Collection achievement of 10 minutes too early, which would not describe the travel situation at airports or anywhere else this Easter weekend. Everyone and their mama was out, it seemed.
Ooh. Especially yo mama, Elroy. OMG. She everywhere because, she's like fat.
Oh, yeah. Well, in any case, you know how the Easter Bunny travels?
Yes, I believe I do. I assume he hops around. But please do tell me if I am wrong. I cannot wait to hear what the answer is if it is not the obvious one of hopping around.
It takes a hairplane. I thought that was a good one. Oh, lastly, in fifth place is Skeptical Mario with 9 pops and 1,700-ish points collected from a wide range of games from Assassin's Creed to Jackbox Party Pack to Sunset Overdrive, in which the Skeptical one earned the achievement of Mixology 101 for mixing it 100 times, presumably. Well, 101 times, I guess. Speaking of which, do you juice?
Like Rafael Palmer, bro, or Sammy Brosa?
Oh, no. Different type of juicing. Like, using fruits and vegetables and stuff, put it in the blender and, make it a healthy snack.
The L you talking to?
Well, I was going to make a vegetable joke, but it sounds like you wouldn't care at all. Oh, well, the honorable mention this week goes to
Proulx. It's got to be Proulx, right? Proulx.
No. Definitely not him. He hasn't gotten a thing this month. Yeah. It's his list. It's bare. Like, it's 0, goose egg, rabbit egg.
None?
In fact, none. He's not on the board. He's taken, to like all the other hosts.
He paid full price for Sea of Thieves. That was smart.
Yeah.
Works well.
Yeah. It looks nice on his shelf. But anyway, in fact, I looked at his list for the month, and he has all kinds of fun stuff there, including the Marvel Ultimate Alliance achievement of Good Samaritan, where he must do unto others as he would have them do unto him.
Elroy, does that mean he will trample everyone the way he was trampled with his improvement joke 18 glorious weeks ago?
Well, that's a possibility. But the honorable mention goes to Beelzebub for simply having the achievement Bunny Guild member from Tales of Vesperia on his list. And to Wheezy Fuzz for no other reason than for his achievement of Easter Bunny from Sam and Max Save the World. Now, granted, these individuals have yet to pop these achievements, but I know in the spirit of, the Easter festivities that have already passed, and, by the time they listen to this, probably will be long in their memories, but I know that they'll soon remedy this, and if they do not, they will be dead to me.
Whoa.
Yeah, they will cease to exist in my mind. And they will just be some bunny that I used to know. Oh, I thought that was good.
It was good singing, but the joke was a little flat.
Yeah. And that was your RTDL update, Easter Bunny edition.
And seriously, y'all, happy Easter to everybody. The best thing about Easter is get all of those